Hello friends. The big question that we want to tackle today is, can the ancient wisdom make you a better leader in 2026? In this video we dive deep into Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 verse 8 to uncover the secret of equanimity for modern executives, which is very essential. We will discover why the most successful CEOs aren't just masters of the market, they are the master of their own mind. Let us explore this further.
Friends, let us stop wasting 40% of our marketing budget on fragmented workflows. By applying the Vedic mathematical sutras to your B2B strategy, we can build a self-optimizing engine that eliminates creative friction instantly. Watch in this video how this ancient algorithm precision transforms erratic production into a predictable high velocity output architecture, delivering absolute operational excellence. So today we are going to break down why this modern marketing is failing to convert, and how the principles of mental agility, pattern recognition, and radical simplification can be applied to our business objectives. Discover how to move from brute force marketing to high speed strategic precision. Most B2B content strategy fail because they lack the geometric precision. We are re-engineering pipeline using the workflow to turn our production cycle into high-speed scaling engines. If you demand immediate ROI and move from chaotic cycles to a predictable high-volume architecture, this synthesis of ancient math and modern distribution is your unfair advantage. Let's go and discuss this further. To build a self-optimizing scaling engine, a leader must shift from managing daily tasks to designing a point of reference system that functions with strategic precision. Drawing inspirations from the Shrestha, which is the distinguished individual who set the standard for others to follow in business. The goal is to create a hierarchy of consciousness where decisions making is rooted beyond the simple data and intellect. By integrating principles like nishkam karma or action without desire for results, a CEO can focus on dedicated performance of duties and the structural integrity of the firm while detaching their emotional self-worth from fluctuating marketing outcomes. This approach leverages the same mental agility found in the ancient computational logic to strip away the noise of the modern complexity, allowing the business to scale through radical simplification and high-speed strategic alignment. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Now let's proceed further. Most B2B leaders are trapped in the platform adoption cycle. You create one great insight, then spend 10 hours manually watering it down for LinkedIn, another 5 for your YouTube, and 3 more for email, newsletter, etc. It's a brute force scaling, and that is why your growth feels like a heavy lift. Today we are basically borrowing a principle from Vedic math to fix this. It is called the let me translate in English. It says by one more than the previous one. So in math, it's a shortcut for squaring numbers. In strategy, it is the formula for a self-optimizing scaling engine. The formula doesn't start with content, it starts with a core strategic insight. Think of this like a base 10. In Vedic logic, you don't recreate the number every time you square it. You simply look at what comes before and add 1 to it. Your first step is to identify your Shrestha insight, which is the distinguished point of reference that defines your expertise. If you are a business consultant, your insight isn't how to sell, it might be the hierarchy of decision making. Once this core is solidified, we stop creating and start recursing. And here is how we apply the formula, which is insight plus 1. Instead of manual adaptation, you build a recursive system. And there are certain steps here. Step 1 is your core video or article is the previous one, right? That means you need to work on plus 1 part of it. Step 2 is system identifies the one more, the unique technical requirement of the next channel, like for example LinkedIn poll or Twitter thread or YouTube short, etc. Step 3 is instead of rewriting the system, extract the logic. So by applying this plus 1 more logic, you aren't managing 16 different channels. You are managing one engine that views each channel as a simple mathematical iteration of the original truth. And this is the Nishkam Karm in marketing. You focus on the dedicated performance of the core duty, and the result across the 16 channels become a calculated byproduct. So why 16? In Vedic math, we often work with 16 sutras. Imagine your scaling engine is a 4 by 4 grid. And so there are several things you can do actually with this. First is direct professional. Direct professions can things like LinkedIn, newsletter, white paper, etc. You can also start working on the visual impact, which includes YouTube campaigns, Instagram, SlideShare, etc. You should also look at the real-time engagement like Twitter, threads, webinars, or internal/secondary initiatives like employee advocacy, client portals, and podcast. When the formula is automated using agentic AI or standardized framework, the engine takes your single core insight and calculates the one more needed for all 16 platforms simultaneously. You move from being a content creator to a strategic point of reference. The result is radical simplification. You stop being paralyzed by the outcome across every platform and start trusting the mathematical precisions of your system. You are no longer adapting to platforms. The platforms are adapting to your logic. And that is how you build a self-optimizing engine that scales while you focus on the next big shift. So in 2026, shift towards algorithmic oversight model makes a transition from manual content moderation to high-speed point of reference system that prioritize total brand integrity. By establishing a hierarchy of consciousness within the AI, these models move beyond simple data processing to ensure that every output aligns with the core strategy value of the firm. This structural approach allows leaders to apply the principle of Nishkam Karm, focusing on dedicated performance of the system's duty while detaching from the noise of individual platform fluctuations. Consequently, organizations can achieve a 10x increase in production speed using a recursive logic to scale a single core insight across 16 channels without sacrificing the Shrestha, which is a standard of quality. This radical simplification effectively dismantles the complexity trap, transforming the CEO's role from the bottleneck of the manual approval to the architect of self-optimizing engines. To ensure the engine remains self-correcting, you must establish a feedback loop where each modular unit functions as a diagnostic sensor of the structural health of the next one. The system mirrors the hierarchy of consciousness where the lower level data points are continuously refined by high-level point of reference to prevent the complexity trap. By treating every channel output as recursive calculation, applying the logic of one more than the previous one, the engine identifies the misalignment in real time, allowing for radical simplification rather than manual troubleshooting. This structural integrity ensures that as production speed increases by 10x, the brand's core value remains protected through automated algorithmic oversight. Ultimately, this feedback loop enables a leader to practice nishkam karma, focusing on the dedicated maintenance of the engine's architecture while the system itself handles the burden of self-optimization. By mastering these ancient principles of logic and efficiency, you transition from a participant to the complexity, a participant in the complexity trap to the architect of the high-speed self-optimizing system. And this approach ensures the strategic growth is not just rapid but also rooted in the structural integrity and precision required for the 2026 landscape. As you implement the Vedic engine, you fulfill the role of the Shrestha, establishing a point of reference that defines the standards for the global B2B excellence. Focus on the dedicated performance of the system and let the calculated results across your 16 channels speak for themselves. So friends, we have come to the end. I am CK, and if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to send it across in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you and address any query, any opinion as well. See you in the next one. Before I close this session, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with two microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Hello friends. In today's hyper-connected yet fragmented business world, a CEO's greatest asset isn't just data, it is the universal awareness. In this video, we explore the profound leadership lesson hidden within Bhagavad Gita and how its wisdom can transform a busy executive into an omnipresent executive. Let's go and discuss this further. In the world of business, we are taught that results are everything. Quarterly earning, market share, profits, these are the metrics of our worth. We spend our lives chasing the fruits, but there is a ceiling to that kind of leadership. Eventually, the chase leads to burnout, short-sightedness, and a strong sense of emptiness. 5,000 or 7,000 years ago, on a different kind of a battlefield, Bhagwan Krishna gave Arjun a piece of advice that is arguably the most sophisticated management strategy ever recorded. Today we are looking at chapter 8, verse 28. It is the secret to why the most iconic CEOs don't actually chase results, they transcend them. So, friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Let's proceed further and let's examine the verse. And the quote starts: a yogi who performs devotional service transcends the fruit of Vedic study, austerities, sacrifices, charities, and pieties. He attains my supreme eternal abode. And the quote close. Let us translate that into an executive speak. In the ancient context, the Vedic study and the austerities were the standard best practice for success. In today's term, these are your MBAs, your 80 hours work week, your strategic philanthropy, and the corporate social responsibility. Krishna isn't saying these things are bad. He's saying these are, intermediate goals. A yogi CEO doesn't just do the work to get the result. They perform the devotional service. In business, we call this purpose-driven leadership. Why does Bhagwan Krishna tells us to transcend the fruits? Because when a CEO is obsessed with the fruit, which is in other terms is profit, or the exit strategy, three things can happen. First, risk aversion. You become afraid to innovate because you might lose the immediate prize. Second, short-termism. You sacrifice the health of the company in your 5-year bonus and year on year. So basically you're now waiting for 5 years and then on every year you're basically ignoring the company's health. Third, anxiety. Your peace of mind is at a mercy of the market. So when the verse talks about transcending the fruits, it's about decoupling your identity from the outcome. When you stop chasing the result, you gain the clarity to see the move that actually wins the game. And the verse mentions about devotional service. For a CEO, this doesn't mean you have to be in a temple. It means your work is an offering to a higher mission. Think of the Yuan Koinard at Patagonia or Satya Nadella's shift at Microsoft. They shifted from beating the competition to a higher purpose. When you lead with a devotion to a mission, whether it's solving a climate crisis or empowering every person on the planet, the fruit, which is the profit and the piety, come as the natural byproduct. By aiming for the supreme abode, which we can interpret as the ultimate vision or your legacy, you automatically satisfy all the smaller matrices of success. The verse concludes and the quote starts, he attains my supreme eternal abode, quote close. For a leader, the supreme abode is the state of equanimity. It is the ability to lead from a place of inner stillness. While the other CEOs are panicking over a bad quarter, the yogi CEO remains fixed on the eternal vision. This isn't just the spiritual fluff, it is the competitive advantage. A leader who cannot be shaken by the fruits is the most dangerous competitor in the room because they are playing an infinite game while everyone else is playing a finite one. So, here is the challenge for the modern executive. Look at your sacrifices and your charity and your studies. Are you doing them just for the fruits? Well, I think that's a question that you can send it across to us if you want to share. Chapter 8 verse 28 invites you to level up, stop chasing the quarterly numbers, quarterly earnings, start performing your leadership as a service to a higher purpose. When you transcend the result, you don't lose them, you master them. The best CEO don't just build companies, they attain a legacy that lasts. They reach their supreme abode. So, friends, are you ready to stop chasing this, start chasing the result, and start transcending? Do let me know. Thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to send it across. Before I go, I would like to speak few words about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with two microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Hello friends, NASA just revealed its next generation high performance space flight computing HPSC processor, a tiny system on a chip that operates nearly 500 times faster than the current space flight computers. Testing at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory JPL proves that the radiation hardened chip could completely eliminate delayed commands from mission control, allowing future rovers and deep space probe to think, navigate and troubleshoot entirely on their own. Therefore, this is very significant, and in this video we break down how this revolutionary AI chip works, how it survives the brutal radiation of deep space, and what this means for upcoming crewed and robotic missions to the moon, Mars and beyond. Let's go. Imagine you're driving a car down a busy highway, but there is a catch. Every time you turn the steering wheel or step on the brakes, it takes 20 minutes for car to actually react. Sounds like a total nightmare, right? Well, that is exactly how NASA has to drive every single rover, probe and spacecraft currently exploring our solar system. Because of the staggering distance in deep space, radio signal traveling at the speed of light can take anywhere from few minutes to several hours to travel from Earth to place like Mars or Jupiter, and then any other beyond Jupiter, few hours to get a response back. If a rover encounters a sudden hazard like crumbling ledge or an unexpected dust storm, it can't wait for ground control to tell it what to do. It has to stop, shut down and go into a protective safe mode, waiting hours or days for humans to fix the problem. But in May 2026, NASA announces a breakthrough that will challenge the rules of space exploration forever. They have officially built and begun testing a revolutionary new brain for the spacecraft, a tiny microchip that allows deep space probe to finally think, react and navigate entirely for themselves. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's continue. To understand how massive this upgrade is, we first need to look at the dirty little secrets in the space industry. Space computers are surprisingly ancient. The smartphone in your pocket right now is exponentially faster and much more powerful than many computers on board NASA's most advanced rovers. Why? Because the consumer electronics on Earth don't have to survive a bombardment of high energy cosmic radiation or extreme temperature swing that would instantly fry a standard silicon chip. Space agencies have historically chosen safety and rugged reliability over raw processing speed, but space exploration has reached a bottleneck. Future missions to navigate subterranean caves on Mars or to plunge through icy plumes of Europa requires intense real-time data processing that old chips simply cannot handle. Enter the HPSC, which stands for High Performance Space Flight Computing. Developed through a landmark commercial partnership between NASA, Jet Propulsion Laboratory and Microchip Technology Inc. This processor is a marvel of engineering. It's a system on a chip, or SoC, meaning it packs an entire computer worth of central processing unit, memory, controller, advanced networking units, and computational accelerator onto a single piece of silicon that fit right into the palm of your hand. And the performance numbers, what are the performance numbers? They are absolutely staggering. Preliminary tests show that the HPSC processor provides over 100 times the total computational capacity of the current space flight computers. But even wilder, in specific operating scenarios, its peak performance burst up to 500 times faster than the radiation hardened chip in use today. So how does this works, and how did they do it? How did they build a chip that's this fast, doesn't melt in deep space? First, the HPSC is built on an open source 64-bit RISC-V architecture, which is RISC number 5 architecture, featuring a 10-core multi-processing system. Unlike the older single-core space chips that had to handle every instructions one by one, this multi-core system can delegate tasks. But space has another massive constraint, which is power. On a distant moon or out past Saturn, solar power is nearly non-existent, and every single watt of electricity from spacecraft's nuclear battery is very precious. The HPSC handles this with unprecedented flexibility. It features a dynamic granular power management architecture. If a spacecraft is just quietly coasting through deep space for a few months, operator can algo turn off the sections of the chip that aren't being used, dropping it into a ultra low power mode. But the second the spacecraft prepared to execute a complex high stake landing on a distant planet, the chip instantly powers up all its cores to process mountains of sensor data on the fly. Furthermore, it is designed from the ground up to be a fault tolerant and radiation hardened. High energy solar particles can randomly flip bits in computer's memory, causing critical code to crash. HPSC has built-in hardware level error handling and a full defense grade security suite. It can detect a radiation induced error, correct the corrupted data in real time, and keep running without missing a beat, all the while being millions of miles away from the nearest repair technician. Now let's talk about this what this actually enables. Why does a spacecraft need a 500 times speed boost? It all comes down to autonomy and on-board artificial intelligence. With this kind of processing muscle, a spacecraft doesn't just record data to send back to Earth. It will analyze it locally. Imagine a future rover exploring Mars. Instead of waiting for a human team on Earth to map out a safe 30-foot path of the day, HPSC powered rover can use its onboard camera to build a real-time 3D map of its surrounding, run advanced object classification algorithms, spot its own hazards, and safely drive miles a day completely on its own. Think about autonomous landing sequence. Landing on a body with an atmosphere or an unpredictable surface is often called the 7 minutes of terror. The spacecraft has to fire thrusters, deploy parachutes, and scan the ground for boulders, all in real time. HPSC allows integrated AI algorithms to process high fidelity sensors data instantly, making split second adjustment to land precisely on the target. This means this opens up a whole new class of missions. We can now confidently send intelligent vehicles into places where real time human control is literally impossible, like flying automated helicopters through alien atmospheres, traversing dark subterranean caves, or deploying autonomous submarines beneath the icy Jupiter's moon Europa to look for alien life. This isn't just theoretical science or any fiction anymore. Right now, this chip is a reality. It's being put through absolute rigor. At NASA's JPL in California, engineers are conducting rigorous functional test campaigns. They started, back in February, blasting the chip with extreme thermal shocks, violent vibrations to simulate rocket launches, and intense electromagnetic radiation. To kick off the test phase, the teams programmed a tiny symbolic message into the processor. Hello universe, a clever, grander nod to the classic hello world program every software engineer writes. And so far, the chip has passed every single test with flying colors, proving that it functions flawlessly exactly as designed. But NASA and the microchip technology have an even broader vision because this architecture is highly flexible. It isn't going to stay confined to deep space. Microchip is planning to adapt the core technology of HPSC processor for high demand mission critical industries right here on Earth. We are talking about next generation commercial aviation autopilot systems, smart energy grid that can dynamically reroute power during natural disasters, advanced medical equipment, automotive manufacturing, and localized industrial AI robotics. It's another classical example of how investing in space technology radically accelerates innovation for everyday life on Earth. Once the testing phase wraps up and the HPSC chip is officially certified as space qualified, NASA plans to weave this hardware into practically everything they launch. It will power next generation Earth orbiting satellites, upcoming planetary rovers, autonomous deep space probes, and even the crewed habitat and life support system for the Artemis astronauts heading back to the moon, eventually onwards to Mars. We are standing on a precipice of a new golden age of exploration, an era where humanity's robotic scouts aren't just remote controlled tools tethered to a sluggish radio wave, but independent, intelligent explorers capable of uncovering mysteries of the cosmos entirely on their own. So, friends, what do you think? Would you trust an AI powered spacecraft to safely land astronauts on Mars without human input? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the future of space tech, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all the notifications so you never miss another breakthrough that we bring to you. Thanks for watching, and I will see you very soon in the next video, my friends. Before I go, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with two microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. नमस्कार दोस्तों, आप सभी का स्वागत है। और आज 1 जून है, 1 जून, और आज तो सोमवार है, तो ये शंकर भगवान का दिन है। तो हम अपना दिन शुरू करने से पहले हम भगवान की स्तुति करेंगे और उसके बाद अपना दिन चालू करेंगे। तो आप सब मेरे साथ जुड़ें और हमेशा की तरह हम इस काउंटर को यूज़ करेंगे जिसमें ये नंबर आ जाते हैं और ये पता चलता है कि हमने कितनी दफ़ा हमने भगवान की पूजा की है। तो एक बहुत ही साधारण सा भगवान शंकर का, शिव भगवान का एक मंत्र है जो हम 11 दफ़ा करेंगे। हम इस काउंटर, जैसे मैंने बताया, आप कैसे भी कर सकते हैं, कोई सा भी आपका प्रोसेस हो वैसा आप फॉलो कर सकते हैं। तो हम स्तुति स्टार्ट करते हैं, आप भी हमारे साथ जुड़ें और भगवान का नमन करते हुए हम अपना दिन शुरू करते हैं। चलिए शुरू करते हैं। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्युर्मोक्षीयमामृतात् सद्यो जातं प्रपागामि भगवान् मृत्युं जय शिवम् आवाहयामि। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्युर्मोक्षीयमामृतात् सद्यो जातं प्रपागामि भगवान् मृत्युं जय शिवम् आवाहयामि। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्युर्मोक्षीयमामृतात् सद्यो जातं प्रपागामि भगवान् मृत्युं जय शिवम् आवाहयामि। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्युर्मोक्षीयमामृतात् सद्यो जातं प्रपागामि भगवान् मृत्युं जय शिवम् आवाहयामि। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्युर्मोक्षीयमामृतात् सद्यो जातं प्रपागामि भगवान् मृत्युं जय शिवम् आवाहयामि। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्युर्मोक्षीयमामृतात् सद्यो जातं प्रपागामि भगवान् मृत्युं जय शिवम् आवाहयामि। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्युर्मोक्षीयमामृतात् सद्यो जातं प्रपागामि भगवान् मृत्युं जय शिवम् आवाहयामि। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्युर्मोक्षीयमामृतात् सद्यो जातं प्रपागामि भगवान् मृत्युं जय शिवम् आवाहयामि। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्युर्मोक्षीयमामृतात् सद्यो जातं प्रपागामि भगवान् मृत्युं जय शिवम् आवाहयामि। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्युर्मोक्षीयमामृतात् सद्यो जातं प्रपागामि भगवान् मृत्युं जय शिवम् आवाहयामि। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्युर्मोक्षीयमामृतात् संज्ञोजातं प्रपागमि भगवंत मृत्युम जय शिवम अवयामी। जय भोलेनाथ, जय भोलेनाथ। तो हमारी आज की 1 जून की जो स्तुति थी, पूजा थी, वो संपन्न हुई और हमने भगवान शिव को याद किया, 11 दफा उनका मंत्र जाप किया। तो दोस्तों, अब हम आपसे इस वीडियो में विदा लेते हैं। जल्दी ही मिलते हैं दूसरे वीडियो में। आपका दिन मंगलमय हो। नमस्कार। Hello friends, you are most welcome. Namaskaram. Are you facing market disruption, a tough quarter, or intense competition? Today we will discover the ancient mindset that turns the business crisis into high growth opportunity. In this video we break down Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 verse 32 and uncover why the warrior mindset is the most powerful tool in the modern CEO's arsenal. Let's go and discuss this further. The market is shifting always. Your supply chain is stalling. That is also always. Competition is fiercer than it's ever been. And your quarterly numbers are looking complicated. As a CEO, you have been, spending your life preparing for businesses as usual. But right now, you are in the heat of a battle. And if you are honest with yourself, you might be feeling that urge to retreat, to freeze, or to simply wish that storm would pass away. But what if I told you that this specific moment, this crisis, this unexpected hurdle isn't a sign that you are losing? What if it's actually exact moment you were meant to step into? Today we are looking at the ancient secret of the modern leadership found in Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 verse 32. We are going to discuss how to turn your biggest business crisis into your greatest breakthrough. Let's talk about being a warrior CEO. Friends, if you have reached this far, please let us know from which city you have tuned in and in which language you're watching this video. All right, let's continue. We live in a culture that teaches us to optimize for comfort. We want smooth growth. We want predictable markets. We want board meetings where everyone agrees. But the reality of leadership is and will always be very volatile. You have likely faced the unsought challenges, the sudden resignation of the key executive, a global economic dip you never forecasted, or a competitor disrupting your entire business model overnight. In those moments, the human instinct is fear. We start looking for the exit. We look for someone to blame. We look for ways to dilute the risk. But that is the mindset of a manager, not a warrior. A manager wants to maintain the status quo. A warrior understands that the battlefield is where the value is proven. Let's look at the source of this mindset as per Bhagavad Gita, which is defined beautifully in chapter 2, verse 32. And Bhagwan Krishna says, and he tells Arjun, quote starts, fighting a battle opens the gate of heavenly abode for warriors. O Parth, an unsought opportunity like this should make you happy. And the quote close. Now pause for a second. Think about that word unsought. Arjun didn't ask for the war. He didn't build his business plan around fighting his own family and teachers. It arrived on his doorstep. The situation was thrust upon him. And that is exactly where you are right now. You didn't ask for this market downturn. You didn't ask for this specific crisis. But the Gita offers a radical perspective. This isn't a problem to be avoided. It's a gate. It's an opening. It's a test of your character, your leadership, and your legacy. If you treat this crisis as an inconvenience, you will become a victim of it. But if you treat it as an unsought opportunity to demonstrate your strength, you become a victor. The heavenly abode isn't a place you go after you die. In the context of business, the heavenly abode is the higher level of leadership, market share, and internal culture you can only reach because you fought through this specific fire. So, friends, how do we apply this to our daily routine? How does this 5,000-year-old verse change our P&L statement or the next board meeting? There are a few things we can do. First, it changes your vocabulary. Stop using the word problem. Start using the word test. When you have a massive issue, you're not in trouble. You are being tested. You are being asked, are you the leader you say you are? Right? Second, it forces emotional detachment. A warrior is in the heat of battle cannot afford to be paralyzed by anger or by grief. They must see the battlefield clearly. When you are in the middle of business crisis, your ego wants you to panic. Your fear wants you to rush. The warrior CEO, however, take a deep breath. They step back. They see the landscape. They ask, what is the most strategic move from this position? Not why is this happening to me, right? Third, it brings clarity of the purpose. The verse says that these battles open the gates. What lies behind the gate for your company? Is it more resilient culture? Is it a learner, more efficient operation? Is it a new product line that only exists because you were forced to pivot? When you view the crisis as a vehicle for your growth, you stop resisting it. You stop fighting the existence of the battle and start fighting for win. You stop being a victim of the economy. You become the sharper of your firm's destiny, right? If you want to adapt the warrior CEO mindset today, here are three steps that you must follow. One, radical acceptance. Stop wasting energy wishing the situation were different. It wasn't. Accept the unsought opportunity as it is. It is here. Own it. Number two, objective assessment. Detach from the outcome. Look at your resources, your team, and your market position. What is the tactical advantage you currently hold? What is the smartest way you can make things right now? Number three, decisive action. Warriors don't hesitate. Once you have seen the path, move with speed. Indecision is a greater killer than bad strategy. Make the call, stand by it, and lead your people with absolute conviction. The battlefield is where you discover who you really are, why you are here, etc. You did not become a CEO because things were easy. You became a CEO because you are capable of handling things that others couldn't. This crisis, it is just a next chapter in your story. Make sure you write it as a warrior. If you are ready to stop managing the chaos and start leading through it, I want you to do one thing. Drop a comment below. What is the unsolved opportunity you are facing in your business right now, and how you are going to use it to your level up? Let's turn this comment section into a place of strategic insight. Like, share this with your fellow leaders who need to hear this today, and subscribe for more deep dives into the ancient wisdom for the modern boardrooms. And friends, thanks for watching. I will see you very soon in the next one. Stay sharp.
Hello friends, welcome to Akulmach Live. The global economy is at the crossroads. In this video, we break down why the next 72 hours are the most critical window for 2026 for investors, for business leaders, and also for the policymakers. With the outbreak of conflict in the Middle East and the recent IMF World Economic Outlook warning of a drop in the global growth rate to 3.1%, and therefore the stakes has never been so high. So what we got to do, what we should be aware of, stick around because we are going to discuss all of this.
Right now, as you're watching this, a timer is ticking. It isn't just a countdown for a market opening or a single earning report. We're entering a 72-hour window that historians may look back on as the definitive pivot point for the global economy in 2026. So why now? Because we are seeing a perfect storm and it is converging. We have a volatile conflict in the Middle East that is threatening the world's most vital energy arteries. We have an IMF that just sounded the alarm on the growth slowdown, and within the next 3 days, we expect the decisions that will determine if we face a controlled landing or a systemic fracture. By the time this 72-hour window closes, the cost of your energy, value of your currency, and the safety of your investment could look radically different. And here is exactly what is happening behind the scenes. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's move ahead. The first pillar of this 72-hour crisis is the energy. As of today, which is April 22nd, 2026, the volatility in the Middle East has moved past rhetoric. Markets are currently pricing in a worst case disruption scenario. If the next 3 days sees an escalation that impact the Strait of Hormuz, we aren't just looking at $100 per barrel oil. We are looking at the supply side shock that could paralyze the European and Asian manufacturing. But it's not just about pricing at the pump. It's about the inflation ghost. Just as the central bank thought they had a handle on the rising price, the energy spike threatened to send the projected 2026 inflation rate of 4.4% or even higher. In this next 72 hours, look for the energy pivot. If the prices break past key resistance level, the global manufacturing sector will go into a defensive mode, and that means layoff and stalled growth. While the headline focus on the conflict, the underlying math is equally terrifying. Last week, the IMF released the World Economic Outlook. The headline was grim. The global growth is projected to fall to 3.1%. Imagine, only 3.1%. But the real story is in the next 72 hours of the diplomatic response. Financial leaders are currently meeting to decide if they will coordinate a liquidity injection or if it's if every nation for itself. We are seeing a massive divergence. While some economies are showing resilience, others, particularly in the developing world, are facing a debt wall. If we don't see a collaborative signal from the G7 or the IMF in these 3-day window, we could see a flight to quality that strip emerging markets of their remaining capital. This is the great repricing of 2026, and it is happening in real time as we speak. When the world gets scared, money moves fast. In the next 72 hours, we are watching the three safe havens, which is gold, US dollars, and increasingly digital assets. Gold has already been hitting the record high, but the next 3 days will test its ceiling. If we see a breakout, it's a signal that the big institutional players have lost faith in a quick diplomatic resolution. Simultaneously, the US dollar is weaponizing itself again. As the dollar strengthens, it puts immense pressure on every other currency for businesses in London, Tokyo, or New Delhi. A 72-hour surge in the dollar market makes their imports more expensive and their debt harder to pay. Watch the currency pairs closely. The tipping point is usually a 3-day trend that becomes month-long slide. So what does this mean for people like you and me? The next 72 hours aren't about panic. They are about positioning. If you are an investor, watch the $100 oil per barrel mark and the 10-year treasury yield. If you are a business owner, look at your supply chain exposure in the Middle East. And if you are just watching your personal finances, understand that the low inflation era we hoped for is being challenged by these 72 hours of geopolitical reality. The world moves fast, but the economy moves in cycles. We are at the end of one cycle and the beginning of another. We'll be monitoring every headline, every market tick, and every diplomatic cable as they come in. Make sure you subscribe in a window. This is very critical. Being 24-hour late is the same being absolutely wrong. So stay vigilant. The clock is running, and I'll see you in the next update, my friends. Before I wind up, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
हेलो दोस्तों, नमस्कार। इस वीडियो में हम डिस्कस करेंगे कि क्या मॉडर्न टेक्नोलॉजी का यूज करके हम अर्थ के मैग्नेटिज्म को हैक कर सकते हैं। ऐसा क्यों जरूरी है? क्योंकि हमने देखा है हाल में बहुत बड़े बड़े सोलर स्टॉर्म आते हैं, और जब सोलर स्टॉर्म आते हैं तो हमारे जो मॉडर्न टेक्नोलॉजी है, जो हमारे सैटेलाइट्स हैं, हमारे मोबाइल फोन, कार्स, हमारे व्हीकल, जीपीएस, सबको डिस्टर्ब करते हैं। कई दफ़ा तो इलेक्ट्रिक सिस्टम्स को पूरा वो डिस्ट्रॉय कर देते हैं। तो ये बहुत ज़रूरी हो गया है कि हम अपने जो हमारा ग्रह है, हमारा जो घर है अर्थ, उसको हम बचाएं सोलर स्टॉर्म से। और जो सोलर स्टॉर्म्स होते हैं कई दफ़ा बड़े स्ट्रांग होते हैं, और जैसे जैसे हम फ्यूचर में जा रहे हैं इनकी तीव्रता बढ़ती जा रही है। तो हम क्या मॉडर्न टेक्नोलॉजी, कोई ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी है जिसको यूज करके हम अपने मैग्नेटिज्म को ही हैक कर दें और एक शील्ड की तरह यूज करें? तो ये हो सकता है, और ऐसा अगर हो सकता है तो इसमें क्या क्या चीजें लगेंगी, क्या क्या चीजें का इस्तेमाल करना पड़ेगा, इस वीडियो में हम इसके बारे में जानेंगे। चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं। तो दोस्तों, अगर कल्पना करें कि आपके इस दुनिया में जीपीएस ही नहीं है। अगर जीपीएस ही नहीं है तो आप पॉइंट ए से पॉइंट बी जा ही नहीं सकते। मतलब आपको दूर जाने की जरूरत नहीं है, आप हार्डली 2 किलोमीटर नहीं चल सकते जीपीएस के बिना। हमारी ऐसी आदत हो गई है अब। अगर आपके पास इंटरनेट नहीं है तो आप कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते, आप कोई काम नहीं कर सकते आज की डेट में। और अगर आपके पावर ग्रिड ही नहीं है, पावर ही नहीं है, तो कोई इक्विपमेंट आपका चलेगा नहीं। तो ये जो प्लॉट है ये एक डिजास्टर मूवी की जैसा लगता है, लेकिन ये एक बहुत ही रियल थ्रेट है। ये कैसे होता है? जो सोलर स्टॉर्म्स होते हैं, जो स्पेस वेदर है, वो जब अर्थ को हिट करता है तो वो उसमें होता है ईएमपी, इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक पल्स, जो हमारे इलेक्ट्रॉनिक और इलेक्ट्रिकल डिवाइसेस को डिस्ट्रॉय कर सकता है। तो इसलिए उसको बचने के लिए हमारे जो इलेक्ट्रिकल डिवाइसेस होते हैं, जो मिनिमम जो हमें पता है कि कितना हमारे पास रेडिएशन आता है, ईएमपी रेडिएशन, उसके हिसाब से शील्डिंग करते हैं, तभी तो ये चल पाते हैं। अगर शील्डिंग ना हो तो हमारे जो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डिवाइसेस है वो चल ही ना पाए। अब बात करते हैं कि सोलर स्टॉर्म। तो कई दफ़ा सोलर स्टॉर्म इतने स्ट्रांग आते हैं कि हमारी शील्डिंग भी फेल हो जाती है, क्योंकि हम इतना शील्ड नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि कॉस्ट का भी एक मैटर होता है। तो जब शील्ड फेल हो जाती है तो जिस जगह पे फेल होती है वो इक्विपमेंट्स चलने बंद हो जाते हैं। और कई दफ़ा, एक बार 1993 में नॉर्थ अमेरिका में बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग सोलर स्टॉर्म हिट किया था, जिससे कि कनाडा और यूएस का इलेक्ट्रिक ग्रिड पूरा बंद हो गया था और कई घंटों तक
2 या 3 दिन तक बंद रहा था। आप इमेजिन करें अगर पूरा इलेक्ट्रिसिटी किसी देश का, बड़े देश का बंद हो जाए तो बहुत सारी चीज़ें बंद हो जाएंगी और कितना सिचुएशन खराब हो सकती है, आपकी सप्लाई चेन बंद हो सकती है, आपका लॉ एंड ऑर्डर खराब हो सकता है, बैंकिंग फाइनेंस आपका बिगड़ सकता है। तो इस चीज़ को ध्यान रखते हुए कुछ साइंटिस्ट ने एक नया स्ट्रेटेजी बताया है कि हमारे अर्थ पे नेचुरल मैग्नेटिज्म है जो हमारा कोर प्रोड्यूस करता है, तो उसको हम यूज करके उसको और शक्तिशाली बना दें, जिससे कि जो सोलर रेडिएशन हमारी तरफ आ रहा है वो कितना भी शक्तिशाली हो उसको हम पहले से स्टडी कर लें और फिर उसी हिसाब से हम अपने मैग्नेटिज्म की तीव्रता बढ़ाएं, अर्थ के मैग्नेटिज्म जो नेचुरल मैग्नेटिज्म है, और उससे वो आने वाले जो तूफान है उसको वो रोक सकेगा। इस प्रोजेक्ट का नाम उन्होंने दिया है स्टॉर्म वेल, और ये हमारे जो एग्जिस्टिंग मैग्नेटिक फील्ड है उसको ऑलरेडी मौजूद है, नेचर में मौजूद रहता है, उसको थोड़ा सा और मॉडिफाई करना है, मतलब उसको हैक करना है। हैक का एक वर्ड यूज किया गया है जिससे इससे लगता है कि कुछ नई टेक्नोलॉजी उसमें कुछ ऐड करके उसको और स्ट्रांग बनाना है। अब ये होगा कैसे? ये ऐसे होगा कि उन्होंने बताया है कि 7 सैटेलाइट्स हैं जिसमें आपको अल्कलाइन मटेरियल कुछ लेके जाना है। दे हैव आल्सो गिवन द मटेरियल नेम। 7 सैटेलाइट्स, बड़े बड़े सैटेलाइट्स से जो करीब 1000 किलो का सामान ले जा सकते हैं, इतने बड़े सैटेलाइट से आपको स्पेस में अल्कलाइन मटेरियल लेके जाना है जो लिथियम बेस्ड होगा या बोरॉन बेस्ड होगा, और फिर एक पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट ट्रेजेक्ट्री में जाके वो वहाँ पे उसको छोड़ देने का है स्पेस के अंदर। अब जब उसको आप ड्रॉप करेंगे स्पेस में तो जिन पॉइंट्स पे करेंगे वहाँ पे काफ़ी स्ट्रॉन्ग अर्थ का मैग्नेटिक फील्ड रहेगा, जिससे ये जो मटेरियल है अल्कलाइन मटेरियल ये एक शील्ड की तरह काम करने लगेगा, और जब सोलर स्टॉर्म आएगा तो उसको डिफ्लेक्ट कर देगा। मतलब उसको रोकना नहीं है, उसका ये पूरी टेक्निक का जो लक्ष्य है वो उसको नलीफाई करना नहीं है, उसका लक्ष्य सिर्फ इतना है कि अपने अर्थ के मैग्नेटिक फील्ड को बढ़ाना, जिससे कि जो हार्मफुल रेडिएशन सन की तरफ से हमारी तरफ आ रहा है वो डिफ्लेक्ट होके चला जाए स्पेस में वापस। अब ये जो उन्होंने प्रपोज दिया है ये काफ़ी रियलिस्टिक प्रपोजल है, लेकिन सबसे बड़ी बात इसमें ये है कि हम जब भी नेचर से खिलवाड़ करते हैं तो इसमें क्या क्या नुकसान हो सकता है, इस चीज़ का स्टडी करना बाकी है, क्योंकि हमारा नेचर जो होता है वो एनवायरनमेंट वगैरह काफ़ी फ्रेजाइल होता है, और इससे क्या क्या हो सकता है या नहीं हो सकता या सेफ मैकेनिज्म है, इस चीज़ का स्टडी करना अभी बाकी है। दूसरा सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट जो पॉइंट है वो ये है कि कॉस्ट, क्योंकि जो इसकी टाइमिंग होनी चाहिए सैटेलाइट्स की वो एक परफेक्ट टाइमिंग होनी चाहिए। जैसे वो सोलर स्टॉर्म आ रहा है धरती की तरफ तो उसी टाइम इसको अल्कलाइन मटेरियल को ड्रॉप करना है स्पेस में जाके, और बड़े बड़े सैटेलाइट्स हैं, 7 सैटेलाइट्स बोले जा रहे हैं स्ट्रेटेजी के दौरान, तो इस सैटेलाइट्स का कॉस्ट भी बहुत होगा, और उसके बाद ये एक बार वन टाइम यूज ही है। ये अगर स्टॉर्म सीरीज में आया तो फिर हमारे पास सोल्यूशन नहीं रहेगा, मतलब एक बार हम उसको रोक सकेंगे, अगर सीरीज में जैसे वेव्स आती हैं समुद्र की, अगर 1 या 2 वेव्स आई स्टॉर्म की तो हमको कॉस्ट बहुत ज़्यादा पड़ेगा। तो दोस्तों अगर आप यहाँ तक पहुँचे हैं तो बताइए कि किस सिटी से आपने हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं और किस लैंग्वेज में हमारा वीडियो देखना पसंद करेंगे। तो अब ये सोचिए कि ये जो स्टॉर्म वेल है, स्टॉर्म इसका जैसे नाम बताया गया है, इसका नाम है स्टॉर्म वेल, और ये साइंटिस्ट जिन्होंने प्रपोज किया इनका नाम है ब्रायन वेल्च। ये बॉस्टन यूनिवर्सिटी में काम करते हैं, और उन्होंने बोला है कि जो हमारी जो शील्ड है इसको और वो स्ट्रॉन्ग बना सकते हैं। पर जैसे मैंने बोला कि जब ये केमिकल आप डालेंगे स्पेस के अंदर तो ये जो सन की रोशनी में आके फोटो आयनाइज हो जाएंगे, मतलब इसके अंदर एक चार्ज प्रोड्यूस होगा जो एक फर्दर मैग्नेटिज्म को सहारा देगा, और इससे अर्थ का मैग्नेटिज्म और स्ट्रांग हो जाएगा। और जो लेकिन जब ये स्टॉर्म धरती की तरफ आके प्लाज्मा से हिट करेगा तो वो प्लाज्मा उसको अपने साथ लेके डिफ्लेक्ट कर देगा, और जिससे हमारे इलेक्ट्रॉनिक इक्विपमेंट वगैरह बच जाएंगे। नाउ अब इसमें मैंने प्रोज एंड कॉन्स दोनों बताए हैं आपको। प्रोज ये है कि हमारा जो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक जो हमारा लाइफस्टाइल है वो बच जाएगा, और कौन सी हैं कि हमें ये पता नहीं है कि इसका साइड इफेक्ट क्या होगा और इसमें कितना खर्चा आएगा। तो इसके लिए काफ़ी रिसर्च करना बाकी है। अब हम बात करते हैं एथिकल कंसिडरेशंस की। देखिए ऐसा है कि जैसे अगर हम 100 साल पुरानी बात करें तो उस टाइम ना मोबाइल होते थे, ना कारें होती थी, ना सैटेलाइट्स होते थे। लेकिन आज की डेट में हमारा जो लाइफस्टाइल है वो इन पे डिपेंडेंट है। जैसे कि मैंने वीडियो के शुरू में बोला कि जीपीएस के बिना हम कहीं जा नहीं सकते, इंटरनेट के बिना हम रह नहीं सकते, और बिजली के बिना तो हम सर्वाइव ही नहीं कर सकते। अगर बिजली नहीं हो, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी ना हो हमारे घरों में, तो कुछ भी नहीं होगा। तो इसकी वजह से अभी हमें सोचना पड़ेगा कि जो स्टॉर्म वेल जैसे प्रोजेक्ट हैं, या ये न, या कोई और प्रोजेक्ट फ्यूचर में, या कुछ प्रोटेक्शन जो हमें स्पेस रेडिएशन से बचा सके, ये हमारे लिए काफ़ी ज़रूरी है। क्योंकि हमारे एनवायरनमेंट के अंदर सैटेलाइट्स हैं, हमारे एनवायरनमेंट के अंदर इलेक्ट्रिकल ग्रिड्स हैं, और हमें ये भी देखना पड़ेगा कि हमें कॉस्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिस भी करना पड़ेगा कि कितने पैसे हैं, और ये भी सोचना पड़ेगा कि सारे धरती के सारे देश एक साथ कैसे आए। सो जियो पॉलिटिक्स का भी इसमें रोल है, क्योंकि एक सैटेलाइट छोड़ के एक कंट्री नहीं बचा सकते, हमें 7 सैटेलाइट छोड़ के सारी धरती को बचाना है। तो इसका मतलब ये है कि जो भी खर्चा होगा वो सारी कंट्रीज कंट्रीब्यूट करेंगी, तभी ये पॉसिबल हो पाएगा। तो ये जियो पॉलिटिकल एक सिचुएशन भी बनती दिखाई दे रही है इसके इस पर्टिकुलर प्लान के अंदर। तो दोस्तों आपको क्या लगता है, क्या करना चाहिए? सोलर स्टॉर्म एक बहुत बड़ा रिस्क है हमारे लिए, या या इतना बड़ा रिस्क नहीं है? आप बताइए हमें। और दूसरी बात यह है कि हम सोच रहे हैं कि हम स्पेस फ्लाइट करेंगे, तो ये जो लर्निंग होगी हमें, ये हमें जब आज से बाहर निकलेंगे तो भी हमें सेव करने में काम आ सकती है। अगर हम स्पेस में जा रहे हैं और स्टॉर्म आ गया जो हमारे स्पेसशिप को हिट करा और वहां पे सब कुछ शट डाउन हो गया, तो हम क्या करेंगे स्पेस के अंदर? तो जो टेक्नोलॉजीज है ये बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है मेरे हिसाब से तो। बट आई वांट टू नो फ्रॉम यू, आप क्या सोचते हैं इसके बारे में? तो जरूर कमेंट करके बताइए। थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग। मैं आपसे फिर मिलता हूँ दूसरे वीडियो में जल्द ही। नमस्कार दोस्तों, आप सभी का स्वागत है। और आज हम डिस्कस करेंगे कि जो मार्केट वोलेटिलिटी है, या ग्लोबल अनसर्टेनिटी है, या कांस्टेंट डिसरप्शन जो हमारे बिजनेस में होते रहते हैं, इसके होते हुए एक लीडर, एक सीईओ अपनी ट्रू स्ट्रेंथ को कैसे महसूस कर सकता है। तो इस बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट सवाल का आंसर ढूंढेंगे हम, भगवत गीता का सहारा लेंगे, और इसमें देखेंगे कि ये हमें क्या एडवाइस भगवत गीता हमें देती है। ऑलराइट, हम ये डिस्कवर करेंगे कि कोई ऐसा मॉडल है जो हमारे को बहुत शक्तिशाली बना देता है, इनडिस्ट्रक्टिबल बना देता है, और ऐसा हमको बना देता है कि हम किसी चीज से विचलित नहीं होते हैं। तो ये बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है आज के परिप्रेक्ष्य में, स्पेशली सारे लीडर्स के लिए। तो कहीं मत जाएगा, क्योंकि ये बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग हम डिस्कशन करने वाले हैं। चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं। तो दोस्तों आपका फिर से स्वागत है, और हम इस एपिसोड में एंशिएंट विजडम जो हमारे भगवत गीता में मेंशन्ड है उसका सहारा लेंगे, और हम जानेंगे कि जो लीडर्स होते हैं वो कैसे हाई प्रेशर लैंडस्केप के अंदर 2026 में, क्योंकि बहुत हाई प्रेशर है, बहुत सारे रेगुलेशंस हैं, बहुत सारे नई तरह से बिजनेस करना है। तो इसमें जो लीडर्स हैं, आज के हमारे जो लीडर्स हैं, या आप हैं या सीईओज हैं, ये कैसे अपनी रेजिलिएंट, अपने सॉफ्ट स्किल को इतना बढ़ा सकते हैं कि वो एक जो स्किल है आपका उसको बिल्कुल इंडिस्ट्रक्टिबल बना देगा आपको। तो हम इस चीज का विश्लेषण करेंगे आज, और हम ये जो इसका आंसर ढूंढेंगे भगवत गीता के चैप्टर 2 वर्स 23 से। ये वर्स है, बहुत ही छोटा सा वर्स है, बहुत ही 2 लाइनों का इसमें श्लोक है ये। इसमें भगवान कृष्ण एक्सप्लेन कर रहे हैं अर्जुन को, जब अर्जुन अपने कुरुक्षेत्र में बैठे हैं, और एक ये मास्टर क्लास की तरह ये डिलीवर किया गया है। और इसमें ये बताया गया है कि इस वर्स के अंदर कि आप कैसे अपने आप को साइकोलॉजिकली स्टेबल बना सकते हैं। ये बहुत ही जरूरी है, क्योंकि अगर आप किसी बोर्डरूम में जा रहे हैं और आप साइकोलॉजिकल स्टेबल नहीं है, आपको कोई चीज परेशान कर रही है, तो आप वहां पे फेल हो जाते हैं। तो दोस्तों अगर आप यहाँ तक पहुंचे हैं तो बताइए कि आप किस सिटी से हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं, और किस भाषा में आप हमारे वीडियो देखते हैं। चलिए हम आगे बढ़ते हैं। जो ये वर्ड्स है, ये जो श्लोक है, ये कहता है कि जो हमारी आत्मा है, जो हमारा सेल्फ है, ये एक किसी भी हथियार से डिस्ट्रॉय नहीं किया जा सकता, आग में जलाया नहीं जा सकता, पानी से इसको गीला नहीं किया जा सकता, और ना ही हवा से इसको उड़ाया नहीं जा सकता। तो अगर उसको आप प्रथम दृष्टि में देखेंगे, फर्स्ट ग्लांस, तो ऐसा लगता है कि ये कोई मेटाफिजिकल स्टेटमेंट है। लेकिन मॉडर्न एग्जीक्यूटिव के लिए, जो आज के सीईओ हैं, उसके लिए ये क्या वैल्यू रखता है? लेकिन इसको आप ध्यान से पढ़ेंगे, हम इसको डिकोड भी करेंगे। ये एक साइकोलॉजिकल ब्लूप्रिंट है, जिसमें भगवान कृष्ण अर्जुन को सिखा रहे हैं कि जो आपकी जो कोर कैपेसिटी है डिसीजन मेकिंग की या जजमेंट लेने की, ये कैसे आप अपने जो जजमेंट लेने की जो इंडिपेंडेंस है आपके दिमाग में, ये एक्सटर्नल जो थ्रेट्स होती हैं उससे इफेक्ट होता है। तो कैसे आप अपने आप को बचा सकते हैं? और प्रोफेशनल लाइफ में हमारे जो एक्सटर्नल थ्रेट्स हैं वो क्या क्या हो सकते हैं? देखिए, क्रिटिसिज्म हो सकता है, मार्केट में आग लगी है, आग लगी है, हर चीज खराब हो रही है, कोई बिक रहा है, कुछ नहीं बिक रहा है, तो मार्केट का डेटा वो एक एक्सटर्नल हो सकता है। और रेगुलेटरी चेंजेस एक एक्सटर्नल इनपुट हो सकते हैं, क्योंकि रेगुलेटरी चेंजेस होते हैं, रियलिटी है लाइफ की कि जो गवर्नमेंट है किसी भी देश में, वो कभी भी अपने हिसाब से वो रेगुलेशन को बदल देते हैं। तो हमें बिजनेस को ये हमेशा इनपुट रहता है कि कुछ ना कुछ उथल पुथल हो रही है। और दूसरा लास्ट में क्या होता है? इकोनॉमिक वॉलेटिलिटी। इन सब के बावजूद जो इकोनॉमी है वो हमारे हाथ में होती नहीं है, ये तो यूनिवर्स अपने आप ही मेंटेन करता है इस चीज को। तो जो ये वर्ड्स है, ये बताता है, एक बहुत स्टेबल देता है कि ऐसी कोई चीज है जो ना आग में जलाई जा सकती है, ना उसको हवा उड़ा सकता है, ना पानी गीला कर सकता है, ना कोई उसको वेपन डिस्ट्रॉय कर सकता है। तो इससे हम कैसे इंस्पायर हो और हम अपने जो हमारा जो बिजनेस वर्ल्ड है उसमें कैसे इसको उतारें? तो सबसे पहला जो सीख है, इससे हमें जो ड्राइव करते हैं, वो है ये है कि हम अपनी जो आइडेंटिटी है वो आउटकम से अलग रखें। मतलब हमारी जो आइडेंटिटी है वो हमारे एक्सटर्नल जो सोर्सेज हैं, जैसे कि मैंने बताया बहुत सारी चीजें हो सकती हैं, उनसे हम अलग हैं। जैसे कि कोई प्रोजेक्ट फेल हो गया, तो जो लीडर है उस प्रोजेक्ट को लीड कर रहा है, वो उसको लगेगा कि यार मेरा तो सब खत्म हो गया, तो पर्सनल डिफीट जैसा लगता है। तो गीता हमें इस चीज का ज्ञान देती है कि पर्सनल डिफीट या पर्सनल विक्ट्री से हम विचलित नहीं होना चाहिए, हमें विचलित नहीं होना चाहिए। और हमारी जो इंटेग्रिटी विजन है वो काफी लॉन्ग टर्म होना चाहिए। तो जो कभी हमारी विक्ट्री होती है, कभी हमारा फेलियर होता है, उससे ना हम बहुत ज्यादा खुश हो और ना हो बहुत ज्यादा दुखी। दूसरा बताया गया है इसके अंदर जो हमें सीख मिलती है वो ये है, मेंटेनिंग इक्विनामिटी। ये हमें बताता है कि हम जो इनर सेल्फ है, जैसे मैंने बताया कि जो हमारा जो इनर जो हमारी पर्सनालिटी है वो स्टेबल रहना चाहिए, एक स्ट्रेट लाइन पे ही रहना चाहिए, ना ज्यादा खुश होना चाहिए, ना ज्यादा दुखी होना चाहिए। और उससे क्या होता है कि जब जब हम किसी से विचलित नहीं होते, तो हम कोई भी परेशानी जो आती है उसको हम बहुत आराम से और उसको सोच समझ के, सूझबूझ के साथ उसको हैंडल कर सकते हैं। और तीसरा इसमें जो सीख मिलती है, अनबर्नेबल माइंडसेट। आपको जो माइंडसेट है जो किसी भी तूफान को झेल सकता है, मतलब बोलते हैं ना इंग्लिश में कि थ्रो एनीथिंग एट मी, तो उस चीज को आप मतलब आप झेल सकते हैं और आपको इसका फर्क नहीं पड़ता है। तो आप कुछ भी आपको इफेक्ट नहीं करता है, इस वजह से आप एक रेजिलिएंट लीडर बन जाते हैं और अपनी कंपनी को, अपनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को टर्बुलेंट टाइम्स के अंदर अच्छी तरह लीड कर सकते हैं। तो ये सबसे बड़ा जो ऑब्स्टिकल आपको महसूस होगा, ये तीन चीजें हमने सीखी इस श्लोक में, लेकिन सबसे बड़ा जो ऑब्स्टिकल इस श्लोक के से जो निकल के आता है वो है, जो हमें रेजिलेंट बनने से रोकता है, वो है हमारी ईगो। जो हमारी ईगो है वो हमेशा या तो किसी ना किसी आउटकम से जुड़ी रहती है। जैसे कि हमारे टाइटल्स हैं, हम प्रेसिडेंट हैं, हम वाइस प्रेसिडेंट हैं, हम सीईओ हैं, हम हेड ऑफ सो एंड सो है। एक ये ईगो हो जाता है। एक हमारा स्टॉक प्राइजेस, कि हमने इतना अच्छा काम किया, हमारी कंपनी का प्राइस बहुत ऊपर जा रहा है, हमारी खुद की रेपुटेशन। तो ये जो वर्ड्स है ये आपको बोलता है कि ईगो अगर आप इसमें लाएंगे तो ये सारी चीजें जैसे फायर, विंड, वेपन्स, ये आपको इफेक्ट करेंगे, मतलब आप रेजिलियंस खो देंगे। तो आपको ईगो बिल्कुल निकाल देनी है, अपने आप को बिल्कुल ग्राउंडेड करना है। और ग्राउंडेड करके गीता आपको ये नहीं बोलता कि आप चले जाइए जंगल में, आपको बोलता है कि आप पहले ग्राउंडेड हो जाइए, बिकम इंडिस्ट्रक्टिबल, और उसके बाद अपने धर्म का पालन करें। आपका धर्म क्या है? आपका धर्म है अपनी कंपनी को, अपने एम्प्लॉयज को, अपने कस्टमर्स को वैल्यू देना। ये आपका धर्म माना जाता है गीता के अनुसार। तो आप अपने रेजिलियंस को बढ़ाएं, एक दीवार की तरह बन जाएं, ना ज्यादा खुश हो, ना ज्यादा दुखी, ना कोई आपको विचलित कर सके, ना आपको कोई मार्केट टर्बुलेंट जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन है वो आपको हिला सके, कुछ भी आपको इफेक्ट ना करे। आप बन जाएंगे एग्जीक्यूटिव रेजिलियंस के मसीहा, एक बहुत बड़े स्ट्रांग, मेंटली स्ट्रांग एक लीडर बन जाएंगे। चलिए ये तो बात होगी, अब आप इसको प्रैक्टिस कैसे करें? मतलब एक दिन में तो आप इसको कर नहीं सकते हैं, आपको पूरा अपना जो माइंड है वो चेंज करना पड़ेगा। तो पहली जो सीख है वो है कि आप सुबह मॉर्निंग चेक इन करें। मॉर्निंग चेक इन मतलब कैसे करेंगे कि अगर कोई इंपॉर्टेंट मीटिंग आपकी स्टार्ट होने वाली है तो आप 1 मिनट का समय अपने आप को दें और ये सोचें कि आज किस तरह से मैं हैंडल करूंगा और कैसे मैं अपने आप को ग्राउंडेड रखूंगा, कुछ भी फ्लक्चुएशन होता रहे मार्केट में और आपके बिजनेस में, लेकिन आपका जो लेवल है वो स्टेबल रहना चाहिए। दूसरा, आपको क्या प्रैक्टिस करना है? न्यूट्रल ऑब्जर्वेशन। आप किसी भी क्राइसिस को देखेंगे तो उसको न्यूट्रलिटी से देखेंगे, बायस होके नहीं देखेंगे कि ये मेरा है ये तेरा है, ऐसा करके नहीं देखेंगे। और ये मेरे साथ ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है, और बहुत तरह की बातें होती हैं, लेकिन आप ऐसा समझ के देखेंगे कि आप जज हैं, जज जूरी, और अपने आप को ऐसे न्यूट्रल पार्टी रख के फिर आप देखेंगे किसी भी इंसिडेंट को, तो आप अच्छा डिसीजन ले पाएंगे। फिर आपको कोई मार्केट फोर्सेस या कुछ इवेंट या फायर, विंड, कोई भी आपको हिला नहीं पाएगी, और आप आराम से सोल्यूशन निकालते हुए, नेविगेट करते हुए प्रॉब्लम से अपने आप को और अपनी कंपनी को बाहर ले जाएंगे। तीसरा सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है आउटकम डिटैचमेंट, मतलब कि जो रिजल्ट है उससे आप अटैच ना हो, ये ना कहें कि ये मैंने किया है। राइट? भगवत गीता आपको इस चीज का ज्ञान देती है कि आपका धर्म है, आपका जो एक्शन है आपका धर्म है, तो आपको एक्शन पूरा फुल फ्लेज करना है, लेकिन ये कभी नहीं बोलना है कि ये मैंने एक्शन लिया इस वजह से ऐसा हुआ, क्योंकि ये तो यूनिवर्स देता है आपको। तो आपको अपने एंड रिजल्ट से डिटैच अपने आप को रखना है। एंड जिस तरीके से आप हर वीक आप आगे बढ़ेंगे अपने करियर के अंदर, आपको ये रिमेंबर करना है कि कैसे आपको ये जो अनवेवरिंग स्ट्रेंथ है आपकी आत्मा की, आपके पर्सनालिटी की, ये कभी भी ढीली नहीं पड़नी चाहिए। और इस वजह से आपके ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस आपको देखेगी, आपके जो एम्प्लॉयज हैं आपको देखेंगे, दे विल रिकग्नाइज यू एज ए लीडर। और इसकी वजह से ये काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है ये वर्ड्स, क्योंकि इससे काफ़ी सीख मिलती है। तो दोस्तों, आपके कोई भी सवाल है तो ज़रूर लिखिए, और मैं अंत में यही बोलूँगा कि आगे बढ़िए क्लैरिटी के साथ और लीड विद योर सेंटर। तो मैं आपसे अगले वीडियो में फिर से मिलता हूं, तब तक के लिए आपका दिन शुभ हो। नमस्कार।
Hello friends, welcome to this high-level executive briefing. We explore the profound leadership wisdom found in Bhagavad Gita. While the modern corporate culture often drives leaders towards external validation and endless doing within quotes, this ancient verse reveals that the most effective leadership comes from a state of internal being. The inside out executive breaks down how the concept of the yogi, one who is happy within and flooded with self enlightenment, translate directly to the modern C suite. Learn how to translate and transition from reactive management to proactive sovereignty. Let us explore this thought further. Welcome once again. We live in an era of the extreme leadership. We are taught that more we do, more we achieve. We track KPIs, market share, and quarterly growth. But there is a paradox at the top. Many executives have reached the pinnacle of the material success while, they feel more hollow than when they started. Why is it that more we gain on the outside, the more we feel we are losing on the inside? Today we are looking for the answers in a 7,000-year-old text. We are exploring Bhagavad Gita chapter 5 verse 24. It offers a blueprint of what I call the inside out executive. Let's look at the verse itself, and Bhagwan Krishna says, and the quote starts, a yogi is happy within. He sees God within himself. He is flooded with self-enlightenment. He attains the liberation from material existence and unite with the divine. And the quote close. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this live stream. This will help us determine our reach. Alright, let's proceed further. To the modern CEO, words like yogi or divine might feel distant. But let's translate this into a language of the leadership. A yogi is simply a person of the perfected discipline. Happy within himself means you are emotional, in your emotional state is no longer a hostage to the stock market or a boardroom meeting. Flooded with self-enlightenment is what we now call high-level intuition and clarity. This verse isn't about retiring to a cave. It's about becoming an unshakable in the boardroom. Most leaders are outside in. If the company performs, they are happy. If the media criticize them, they are miserable. Their internal world is a mirror of their external environment. The inside-out executive flips the script. Verse 5.24 tells us that the source of joy must be internal. When you are happy within, you lead from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. You aren't making decisions because you are afraid of losing your status. You are making them because they are the right thing to do. This is where the self-enlightenment comes in. When the noise of ego and anxiety is silenced, you gain the quiet mind. In that quiet, you see the God within, or in professional terms, you access your highest intelligence. Now let's talk about the most provocative word in this verse, liberation. In the Gita, this is the moksha, which is freedom from cycle of birth and death. For an executive, this is freedom from the material grind. Think about it. How much of your stress comes from things you cannot control? The economy, the competition, the global supply chain. Liberation means you are no longer a slave to these outcomes. You perform your dharma, which is your duty, with 100% intensity, but your soul isn't crushed if the result fluctuate. Ironically, this detachment makes you more powerful. A leader who doesn't need a specific outcome to feel whole is the most dangerous person in a negotiation. You have nothing to lose because your fulfillment is already locked in internal space. So how do we apply this tomorrow morning, right? First, the morning audit. Before you check your emails, which is coming from outside, check your inside. Spend 5 minutes in silence. Find that internal happiness before the world tries to give you its version of it. Alright? Number 2, intellectual detachment. During a crisis, ask yourself, is my happiness based on solving this, or is my happiness constant while I solve this? Right? Number 3 is lead by light. So verse 5.24 mentioned about flooded with light. Be the leader who brings clarity to the room, not heat. If you are enlightened within, you illuminate the path for everyone else. The verse ends by saying the yogi unite with the divine. In leadership, this is the union of the purpose and action. When your internal state matches your external impact, you aren't just working anymore, you are fulfilling your mission. So don't just lead a company, lead yourself first. Be the inside out executive. And friends, we have come to the end. Thanks for joining live. Thanks for your time. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to send it across. Before we end this section, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
हेलो दोस्तों, आपका स्वागत है। नमस्कारम। आज हम अपने बिजनेस सेक्शन में बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट एक सवाल लेके आए हैं। क्या हो अगर ह्यूमंस लूज द एबिलिटी टू लाई? जेनेटिक लेवल पे जो हमारे ह्यूमंस हैं वो झूठ बोलना ही भूल जाए, पॉसिबल ही ना हो। तो इस थॉट एक्सपेरिमेंट का हम आज डिस्कशन करेंगे इसके अराउंड, और हम देखेंगे कि अगर ऐसा हो सके कि झूठ बोलना हम बंद कर दें तो सबसे पहले कौन सी इंडस्ट्री बिल्कुल कोलैप्स हो जाएंगी। क्या वो एडवर्टाइजिंग होगी, या कोई पॉलिटिकल कैंपेन, या सेल्स एक्टिविटी जो पूरी तरह कोलैप्स हो जाएगी। और इस फीचर का अगर ऐसा हो सके, जैसे मैंने बताया थॉट एक्सपेरिमेंट है, अगर ऐसा हो सके तो हमारी दुनिया की अर्थव्यवस्था, इकोनॉमी में क्या इफेक्ट पड़ेगा। तो चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं और इस चीज का डिस्कशन करते हैं। इमेजिन करें कि आप सुबह उठें और जो सफेद झूठ है वो फिजिकली इम्पॉसिबल ही हो जाए किसी भी इंसान के लिए बोलना। अब आप ऑफिस जाते हैं और आपका बॉस वहां से पूछता है, भाई हाउ वाज योर वीकेंड, आप कैसे, आपके पिछले 2 दिन कैसे थे? आप पोलाइटली आपको क्या रिप्लाई करना है? आपको रिप्लाई करना है इट वाज ग्रेट एंड थैंक्स फॉर आस्किंग। बट इसकी जगह आप बोल देते हैं, अरे भाई आपकी प्रेजेंटेशन बना रहा था, मिजरेबल था, बहुत ही स्ट्रेस में था, मैं आपकी इसी प्रेजेंटेशन के लिए तैयारी करा था, अभी भी स्ट्रेस में हूं। ऐसा बोलेंगे तो क्या होगा, राइट? तो ऐसा तो हम बोलते नहीं है, हम तो बोलते हैं इट वाज ग्रेट, आई हैड फन। लेकिन अगर ऐसा हो जाए तो क्या हो? तो अभी इमेजिन करें कि जो फिल्टर है, जो झूठ का जो एक फिल्टर हमारी दुनिया में लगा हुआ है, अगर वो हर ट्रांजैक्शन पे लग जाए, हर एडवर्टाइजमेंट पे लग जाए, हर पॉलिटिकल स्पीच में लग जाए तो क्या हो? तो हम एक एक करके इसको एग्जामिन करते हैं, एक्सपेरिमेंट करते हैं। थॉट एक्सपेरिमेंट है ये, और ये इस पे बेस्ड है कि अगर हम झूठ बोलना हमारे लिए पॉसिबल ना हो तो कौन सी इंडस्ट्री में सबसे ज्यादा इफेक्ट पड़ेगा। सबसे पहले लेते हैं टाइटन ऑफ द इंडस्ट्री, जो सबसे बड़ा सेगमेंट है वो है एडवर्टाइजिंग। अब एडवर्टाइजिंग में क्या होता है, ये बोला जाता है कि मतलब एडवर्टाइजिंग इज पार्ट ऑफ मार्केटिंग, आपको सबको पता है। तो मार्केटिंग में ये बोला जाता है कि आर्ट ऑफ परसुएशन है ये। मतलब आप एक ही चीज को रिपीट करते 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 100 दफा करें तो ऐसा लगेगा कि हाँ जी, ये जो कंपनी का प्रोडक्ट है बहुत ही अच्छा है। तो जैसे कि कई प्रोडक्ट होते हैं कि 99.9% जम्प्स रिमूव कर देते हैं, तो 0.1% क्यों नहीं करते, राइट? तो उन्होंने थोड़ी सी गुंजाइश छोड़ी हुई है। हो सकता है कि वो सिर्फ 80% ही करता हो, लेकिन वो सही बता नहीं रहे आपको। इसी तरीके से सबसे बड़ा जो सेगमेंट मेरे हिसाब से है वो वेट लॉस वाला है। वेट लॉस में क्लेम करते हैं ये गोली खा लीजिए और आपके इतने सारे पाउंड जो आपका वेट है वो कम हो जाएगा। आपको नहीं लगता है कि झूठ है ये, कि अगर गोली खा ली और उससे अगर वजन कम होने लगा तो सारे पतले हो गए होते हैं अभी तक? तो ये सबसे बड़ा झूठ है, इस पे इतनी बड़ी $multi-billion की इंडस्ट्री चल रही है। ठीक है, और ये एडवर्टाइजिंग से चल रहा है। तो आप इस चीज को सोचें अगर, तो हर चीज में, एडवर्टाइजिंग में हर चीज के अंदर बिल्कुल ही वाइट लाई, जो सफेद झूठ जिसको हम बोलते हैं, वो परोसा जा रहा है, और हम उसको देख के अपना डिसीजन लेते हैं कि हमें क्या प्रोडक्ट खरीदना है और क्या नहीं। मल्टी ट्रिलियन डॉलर इंडस्ट्री है ये एडवर्टाइजिंग की, दुनिया भर की, और इसके बिना तो हमारी ज़िंदगी चलती ही नहीं है। हम सारे दिन टीवी देखते रहते हैं, उसमें नए नए प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च होते रहते हैं, सब झूठ पे बेस्ड होते हैं, राइट। अगर सोचिए एडवर्टाइजिंग सच्चाई बोलने लग जाए, तो हमारा जो हम परचेजिंग करते हैं, जो हम सामान खरीदते हैं, उसका नज़रिया ही, परचेजिंग का जो व्यू पॉइंट है, वो एकदम चेंज हो जाएगा। और अगर सच ही बोलने लगे सारे के सारे एडवर्टाइजर्स, तो उसका इम्पैक्ट क्या होगा ये आप खुद ही सोचिए, ठीक है। अगर आपके पास कोई और विचार है तो अभी कमेंट करके बताएं। दूसरा जो सेगमेंट है वो है यूज्ड कार सेल्समैन। अब क्या है कि अगर कोई कार बेच रहा है, और उसके जो टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस हैं वो तब तक ही एप्लीकेबल है जब आपके गैराज में कार है। कार आपने बेच दी और वो गैराज से बाहर चली गई, तो वो तो उसके 1 किलोमीटर के बाद जाके उसका कुछ फेल हो जाएगा, तो हम रिस्पॉन्सिबल नहीं है। लेकिन जब तक वो गैराज में थी तो उसका बेस्ट इंजन परफॉर्मेंस था, हर चीज बेस्ट थी। और अगर यूज कार सेल्समैन सच्चाई बोलने लगे कि भाई इसका ट्रांसमिशन फेल होने वाला है, तभी तो ये बिक रही है गाड़ी, तो वो कोई यूज कार खरीदेगा ही नहीं। तो बिल्कुल ही कार के बारे में, बिल्कुल प्रोडक्ट के बारे में बिल्कुल बताते नहीं है सच्चाई से, और मतलब उसको प्रोडक्ट को बेच देते हैं। तो एक ये हो सकता है, ये मतलब हर चीज में लगता है, मैं एक पर्टिकुलर सेगमेंट को लिया है, लेकिन ये हर चीज में एप्लीकेबल है। प्रोडक्ट के बारे में सच्चाई से बताते नहीं है, और उस सच्चाई की वाइट लाई परोसा जाता है, सफेद झूठ परोसा जाता है, और अगर सच बता देंगे तो वो बैड न्यूज हो जाएगा। तो हर चीज अच्छी अच्छी बताई जाती है, और जिसके बाद प्रोडक्ट बेचा जाता है। तो दोस्तों, अगर आप हमारा इस वीडियो यहाँ तक पहुंचे हैं, तो बताइए कि आप किस शहर से हमारा वीडियो देख रहे हैं और किस लैंग्वेज में आप इस वीडियो को देखना पसंद करते हैं। तो चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं। अब मैं तीसरी जो इंडस्ट्री लूंगा वो पॉलिटिक्स लूंगा, क्योंकि आप सब जानते हैं कि पॉलिटिक्स बहुत बड़ा सेगमेंट है जिसमें प्रोफाइलिंग की जाती है और परसेप्शन क्रिएट किया जाता है, जो एक एडवांस फॉर्म है एडवर्टाइजिंग का ही, और एक सेल्स, जैसे बोला ना कार सेल्समैन, उन दोनों का हाइब्रिड है ये पॉलिटिक्स। तो क्या होता है जी इसमें, कि जो पब्लिक रिलेशन है वो मेंटेन किया जाता है, एक नैरेटिव सेट किया जाता है, बहुत बड़ा एक एडवर्टाइजिंग मार्केटिंग कैंपेन किया चलाया जाता है। उसमें एडवर्टाइजिंग मार्केटिंग कैंपेन के जो फॉर्मूलाज हैं उनको इम्प्लीमेंट करके एक नैरेटिव क्रिएट किया जाता है। नाउ नैरेटिव कैन बी पॉजिटिव, इट कैन बी नेगेटिव, कि टाइम टू टाइम जब पॉलिटिकल एजेंडा जैसा क्रिएट करना है उसी तरह का नैरेटिव क्रिएट किया जाता है। अब आप सोचिए कि नैरेटिव किया जा रहा है कि अगर मेरी सरकार आ गई तो आपका टैक्स माफ कर दूंगा मैं, या ये चीज आपको दे दूंगा। तो आपको लगता है कि ये कभी हो सकता है? अगर किसी ने बोला कि मैं आपका टैक्स कर दूंगा, लेकिन कैसे करूंगा अगर ये बोल दे, तो पॉलिटिकल जो एजेंडा जो क्रिएट करने की कोशिश की जा रही है वो खत्म हो जाएगी, वोट मिलेंगे ही नहीं। तो क्योंकि अगर ये बोल दे कि अच्छा मैंने ये बोल तो दिया कि मैं आपका टैक्स काट दूंगा, लेकिन मुझे कोई आइडिया नहीं है कि मैं कैसे करूंगा, अगर ऐसा बोल दे कोई पॉलिटिशियंस, तो वो तो उसका कैंपेन ही खत्म हो जाएगा, राइट। तो और इसके अलावा ये पूरा एक एम्बैरेसिंग सिचुएशन भी बन जाएगा। ये भी हो जाएगा कि जो गवर्नमेंट है, दुनिया भर की सारे देशों की गवर्नमेंट है, वो उनकी लेजिटिमेसी पे क्वेश्चन, एक प्रश्न चिन्ह खड़ा हो जाएगा अगर वो सच बता दें। लेकिन ये पूरा का पूरा जो कैंपेन होता है एक वाइट लाई पे बेस्ड होता है, और ये चीज एक कॉर्पोरेट ऑफिस पे भी लागू होती है। हर कॉर्पोरेट ऑफिस के अंदर हर चीज एक प्रेजेंटेशन की तरह दी जाती है। हमारा वर्किंग एनवायरनमेंट बहुत ही अच्छा है, हमारा खाना बहुत अच्छा है, हमारे होटल का खाना बड़ा अच्छा है। तो इस तरीके की चीजें परोसी जाती हैं। अगर ऑफिस, कॉर्पोरेट ऑफिस में अगर सच्चाई का सहारा लेने लगे, तो एचआर का जॉब ही खत्म हो जाएगा। जो एचआर है वो हर चीज को बहला फुसला के एम्प्लॉयज को लाते हैं, और अगर किसी को निकालना भी होता है बोलते हैं कि ये तो रीस्ट्रक्चरिंग हो गया जी, रीस्ट्रक्चरिंग में आपकी जॉब चली गई। अगर यहाँ पे ऑनेस्टी दिखाई गई तो कितना बड़ा बवाल हो सकता है इस चीज के अंदर, आप खुद ही सोचिए। जो जोर का झटका जो धीरे से लगता है वो बिकॉज ऑफ व्हाइट लाई ही लगता है, क्योंकि आदमी को पता ही नहीं चलता कि क्या सच है क्या झूठ है। किस लिए ये हमारे साथ हो रहा है, या तो मेरी तरक्की हो रही है या मेरा डिमोशन हो रहा है, तो क्यों हो रहा है। और अगर ऑफिस बैंकरप्ट हो रहा है तो वो भी इंफॉर्मेशन ठीक तरह से मिलती नहीं है एम्प्लॉयज को। तो ये एक पूरा कंट्रोल्ड तरीके से परोसा जाता है। तो अभी अंत में हम देखते हैं कि अगर व्हाइट लाई, वैसे तो निकलेगा नहीं, हम तो थॉट एक्सपेरिमेंट कर रहे हैं, अगर व्हाइट लाई हमारी लाइफ से, हमारी जेनेटिक लेवल पे, हमारे मेकअप से निकल जाए, पूरे प्रोसेस से निकल जाए, तो वो तो पॉसिबल ही नहीं हो पाएगा। इसके अलावा ऐसी कौन सी इंडस्ट्री है जो सरवाइव करेंगी अगर व्हाइट लाई निकल गया, झूठ बोलने की ताकत अगर निकल गई, तो ऐसी कौन सी इंडस्ट्री है जो सरवाइव करेंगी। देखिए, वो इंडस्ट्री सरवाइव करेंगी जो सच्चाई पे बेस्ड होती है, जैसे कि इंजीनियरिंग, साइंटिफिक रिसर्च, लॉजिस्टिक्स। यहाँ पे अगर आप स्पिन करेंगे कुछ, तो वो तो गड़बड़ हो जाएगी। आप ये नहीं बोल सकते कि मैंने ब्रिज बना दिया, बहुत ही अच्छा उम्दा ब्रिज बनाया है मैंने। अगर आपने अच्छा ब्रिज नहीं बनाया, वो तो ग्रेविटी विल बेसिकली प्रूव कि आपने ब्रिज आपका तो गिर गया, राइट। तो इस तरह की जो इंडस्ट्रीज होती हैं दे विल फ्लरिश। साइंटिफिक रिसर्च, इंजीनियरिंग, ये इनमें तो बहुत ज्यादा उछाल आएगा, क्योंकि ये तो आज की डेट में भी झूठ पे बेस्ड नहीं है, ये तो एब्सोल्यूट क्लैरिटी के ऊपर बेस्ड होती हैं ये सारी कंपनी। और जो भी आपकी ट्रांसपेरेंसी और इस तरह की जो इंडस्ट्री होती है वो सरवाइव करेंगे। जिन पे थोड़ा सा भी रहता है कि कुछ एक नैरेटिव क्रिएट किया जा रहा है, वो सब फ्लॉप हो जाएंगी। तो दोस्तों, आप क्या सोचते हैं कि आपको क्या लगता है कि अगर हमारे अर्थ से, हमारे सिविलाइजेशन से अगर झूठ बोलने की जो प्रॉपर्टी है वो निकाल दी जाए तो क्या हो। आपके जो भी विचार हैं, आई एम श्योर कि मेरे विचारों से आपके विचार थोड़े अलग होंगे, तो जो भी विचार हैं आप कमेंट करके लिखिए, हमें बताइए। लेट्स हैव ए डिस्कशन। और दिस वाज ओनली अ थॉट एक्सपेरिमेंट, और वैसे आपको पता है ये हो नहीं सकता है, लेकिन ये सिर्फ थॉट एक्सपेरिमेंट था। और आप इसके बारे में क्या सोचते हैं, आई वुड वेट टू हेयर फ्रॉम यू। थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग, एंड आई विल catch you again in the next one. Bye for now.
Stop! Before you hit the delete channel button or give up on your next upload, you need to watch this. Most creators quit YouTube exactly 3 feet from the gold. They see flat lines in their analytics and assume they are failing. But in reality, they are simply in a ghost phase, the period where the algorithm tests your consistency and your skills are being sharpened for the big break. In this video, we dive deep into the psychology of the content creation and why zero views might actually be your biggest competitive advantage. How? Let us discuss this further. You are checking your phone again. It's been 3 hours since you uploaded your latest video and the one you spent all weekend editing. You have refreshed the studio app 10 times and the number hasn't budged. 4 views, 2 of which were probably you. The thought starts creeping in. Is this even worth it? You see other creators blowing up overnight and you feel like you are shouting into a void. You are ready already to quit, but before you hit that delete channel button, I need you to understand one thing. You aren't failing. You are actually in the most important phase of your journey. Most creators quit exactly 3 feet from the goal. Today I'm going to show you why nobody is watching is actually your secret weapon, and why your biggest breakthrough is like hidden right behind the urge to give up. Let's dive in. But before, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. I would also know who's watching and who's not. Alright, let's proceed further. Let's address the elephant in the room, which is the algorithm. We talk about it like it's a sentient being that hates us. It doesn't, but it's a system built on trust. When you are a new creator or you're trying to pivot, you enter what I call the ghost phase. Think about it. Why would YouTube push your content to millions of people if you are only person you can stay consistent for only 2 weeks? The algorithm is testing two things: your competence and your consistency. During this ghost phase, you have a massive advantage that no big creator has, which is freedom to fail. When nobody is watching, you can experiment, you can find your voice, you can mess up the lighting, and you can make terrible jokes without hundreds and thousands of people judging you. This is your training ground. You are not being ignored, you are being incubated. This is the concept from the book Atomic Habits, called the plateau of latent potential. We expect progress to be in a straight line up. We think if I put in X amount of work, I should see X amount of views. But the growth on YouTube is exponential, not linear. You spend months, maybe years, working in the valley of disappointment, and this is where you are putting in the work, but the result aren't showing yet. You are building the foundation. It's like bamboo tree. It grows underground for 5 years, developing a massive root system, and then it shoots up 80 feet in 6 weeks. So if you quit during the root building phase, the tree will never grow. Every video you make into a flop is actually a root. It's a data point. It's a lesson. It's one step closer to the 80-foot breakthrough. So why do most creators quit right before they win? It's because of the psychological phenomena called cognitive friction. The effort required to make a video feels much higher than the reward of 10 views. To survive this, you have to shift your win condition. If your win condition is to get 1000 views, you get 50, you feel like as if you have lost it. You feel defeated. But if your win condition is like getting 1% better at color grading, or write a more compelling hook, or you do that, you have won already, right? I mean, if you do all of these core competencies, regardless of the view counts, don't you think so? Winning on YouTube is a war of attrition. The pros aren't necessarily the most talented people on the platform. They are the one who refuse to go away. They stayed in the game long enough for the luck to find them. Because on YouTube, luck is just where the preparation meets the long enough timeline. Now, as a disclaimer, I'm not saying that you should keep doing exactly the same thing if it is not working. There is a difference between quitting and pivoting. If you have made 50 videos and they all have 0 views, don't quit YouTube. Change your strategy. Maybe your thumbnails are weak. Maybe your intros are too slow. Use the silence to audit yourself. When nobody is watching, you have the lowest stakes possible to reinvent yourself. Don't you think so? So ask yourself, am I making content for me, or am I making content that solves a problem or provide value for someone else? Once you align your passion with audience's need, the nobody watching problem starts to disappear. The hardest part of YouTube isn't the editing or the SEO. It is the mental game. It is showing up on Tuesday morning to film a video when your last 3 uploads tanked. But remember this, every major creator you admire today, from Mr. Beast to MKBHD, had a period where they were talking making videos, but generating 0 interest, 0 views. They felt exactly how you feel right now. The only difference between them and millions of abandoned channels is that they decided to post one more time. Your breakout video is already in your head. It's coming. It's going to come, definitely. But you can't find it cannot find you if you weren't there to upload it, right? So don't quit. Just get 1% better today. So friends, what do you think? If you have any question, or if you want to know more, please leave a comment below, and I will see you again in the next one. Before I take your leave, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
In the dawn of Vedic age, when human curiosity first turned towards the stars and the mystery of fire, one sage stood at the crossroad of spirituality and science. So we are talking about Rishi Angira. He became a pioneer of knowledge system that shaped Indian knowledge system and the thought that stayed for millennia. Angiras looked at fire not merely as a ritual but as a very essence of energy, transformative, purifying and eternal. He listened to the sound not only as a chant but as a scientific medium, a carrier of wisdom across generation. He gazed the cosmos and saw order, symmetry and proportion, principle that would echo in maths and astronomy long after his time. And above all, he taught that the body, mind and universe were not separate realms, but a reflection of one harmonious whole. And in 2026, the contribution of Rishi Angira feels more relevant than ever because his teachings sit at the intersection of science, philosophy and holistic living, exactly where the modern society is searching for balance. In the vast tapestry of India's spiritual and intellectual heritage, few figures stand out as bright as Rishi Angira. Counted among the Saptarishi, he was not only a seer of divine truth, but also a pioneer where the insight laid the foundation of astronomy and mathematics and definitely the sound and how to actually handle the sound and the holistic philosophy. His legacy reminds us that the root of science and spirituality in India are deeply intertwined. So Angira is often described as the sage of fire. In Rig Veda, his hymn of Agni reveals a profound understanding of fire, not merely a physical phenomena, but as a universal principle of energy, transformation, and purification. Fire consume and transform, and also that. So it transform into kind of a energy, and it also into purifying, and in this whole process a renew idea that resonate with the modern science notion of energy conservation and thermodynamics. For Angira, the Agni or the fire was both a deity and a metaphor. The eternal flame that linked the material world with the cosmic order. His vision of fire as energy linked to the transformation and purification, and that even resonate today also, and we that also focus on renewable energy and sustainable practices. So Angira reminds us that the energy is not just a resource, but a principle of harmony. So today we are keen regarding energy and sustainability, aren't we? So, but Angira's vision extended far beyond fire. He was deeply engaged with the cosmos and observing the star and the cycle of time. His association with the Rishi constellation reflect the Vedic tradition of linking sage to celestial bodies. In this way, Angira helped establish astronomy not merely as a tool but for a ritual, but a science of cosmos rhythm. His teaching emphasized that the heavens were not a distinct mystery but a living pattern guiding human life. Now in 2026, with the space exploration and AI driven astronomy advancing rapidly, his emphasis on cosmos rhythm and the cycle offers a philosophical ground and seeing the universe not as a chaos but as an order pattern we have learned from. So, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. That will that will help us to determine the reach of our channel. So going forward on Angira, perhaps his most enduring contribution was in the realm of sound and knowledge transmission. So Angira recognized that the sound or shabd, that's what we call in Hindi, was and they are actually more vibration. It's more a vibration, and it has a scientific medium for preserving and transmitting the wisdom. In the age before the writing, he developed the method of oral transmission that relied on rhythm, repetition, and precise articulation. And this system ensured that the Veda could be memorized and passed down flawlessly across a generation. So in a modern term, Angira pioneered into science of memory, science of sound, and blending linguistic and phonics and the pedagogy into one. And even now in the age of digital communication, Angira's recognition of sound or shabd, that's what we call in Hindi, as a scientific medium and that mirrors how we use data transmission today. His oral method of preserving knowledge and anticipating the importance of precision is definitely very much relevant in information system. So his hymn also reveal a fascinating with order, symmetry and proportion. So ritual were not a random act but carefully measured sequences reflecting mathematical precision, and this emphasis on structure influenced later in Indian tradition in maths, and where the proportion and the balance became the guiding principle. So in Angira's worldwide view, the maths was not an abstract. It was a language of harmony, in a way the mirror the cosmos into human practice. His focus on order, symmetry and proportion aligned with the modern mathematics and coding and design thinking, where the structure and the balance are essential for innovation. So equally important was his teaching on balance between body, mind and cosmos. So Angira saw human being as a microcosmos of universe. Just as a fire purifies and a star guide, so too our individual alignment in their inner energy of us and yours inner energies with the rhythm of nature. So this holistic vision foreshadowed the Ayurveda and other Indian science that emphasize equilibrium as the key of health and wisdom. Perhaps most importantly, his teaching that body, mind, and cosmos must remain in equilibrium, and speaks directly to 2026 challenges of mental health and environment crisis and technological, actually, the overload. So, taken together, Angira's contribution form a remarkable legacy. He gave us the vision of fire as an energy, astronomy as a cosmic order, sound as a scientific transmission, and mathematics as a symmetry, and philosophy as a balance. So his work reminds us that science, spirituality were never separate in Vedic age. They were two sides of one quest for truth. So as we look back and as we analyze the teaching of Angira, so in that context, Angira emerged not only as a sage but as scientist of soul and cosmos. His insights continue to inspire, urge us to see the universe not as a collection of isolated phenomena, but as a living, ordered whole. In his hymn, we hear the echoes of timeless truth, that knowledge, whether spiritual or scientific, is a flame meant to illuminate, transform, and guide humanity towards harmony with the cosmos. So in Vedic dawn, the Angira lit the flame of knowledge, of science, where the fire becomes energy, sound becomes knowledge, and cosmos becomes order. So in the end, Rishi Angira emerged not as a sage of Vedic age, but a visionary who saw science and spirituality as two currents of same river. His hymn to fire reveals the energy as a principle of transformation and purification. His devotion to sound gave humanity a flawless system of oral knowledge transmission, ensuring the wisdom echo across the centuries. And his fascination with symmetry and proportions seeded the spirit of mathematics, while his gaze at the star aligned human life with the cosmos rhythm. What Angira taught us was simple yet profound. The body, the mind, and the cosmos are not separate realm, but reflection of the same kind of alignment, same as a kind of living, the way of living, actually. So when we go forward about his teaching, I would also request you to send us the comments what you think, and if you want to add something on this in this context, please, we welcome your comments. So his vision was knowledge was not a possession but a flame meant to illuminate, purify, and guide. As we look back today, his legacy reminds us that the true wisdom lies in the balance and between energy, order, and between sound and silence, between the human and the cosmos. So please send, as I was requesting you, send your comments on this subject, and also please subscribe our channel for more insights to Indian spirituality, mythology. So see you in the next one. But before we end, a few words about our affiliate partner.
Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with two microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with
tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
Twilight chambers of bat caves. Science listens to the whispers carried on wings. Each flutter is more than a movement. It is a messenger of hidden viral world evolving in silence yet capable of reshaping human history. These caves are ecological crossroads where bats, viruses and environment is intertwined in a delicate balance. Deep inside the humid darkness of Bat Cave, science finds a living lab where the ecology, virology, and human destiny intersects. Bats, with their extraordinary diversity and a global distribution, are reservoir of countless viruses, many harmless within their host, but some with the potential to leap across the species boundaries. The study of virus ecology in these caves is not simply an exercise in curiosity. It is a frontline defense against the next pandemic. Researchers entering these caves are greeted by a symphony of wings and echoes, but beneath the spectacle lies a complex web of interactions. Viruses circulate among bat population through social grooming, shared routes, and feeding habits. Each colony becomes a microcosm of viral exchange, and where the genetic material mutates, recombines, and occasionally acquired the traits that makes cross-species infection possible. By observing these dynamics, scientists gained predictive insight into zoonotic spillover, the moment when the pathogen jumps from animals to humans. And these recent fieldwork has revealed that a spillover risk is not random. It is shaped by ecological pressures, food scarcity, or maybe driving bats closer to human settlement, seasonal migration, concentration of the population, and environmental stress, weakening the immune defenses. So in these caves, near agricultural zone, bats often we find them in fruit orchids and leaving salivas, droppings that can actually contaminate the produce. So such ecological bridges create pathways for virus to escape from their natural host. So if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us in determining the reach of our channel. So moving forward on this interesting topic, the bat cave thus become a metaphor for a porous boundary between wilder habitat and the civilization. By squeezing viral genomes and collecting them from the salivas and other material which is like droppings, scientists can map evolutionary trajectories, and identifying which strain show sign of adapting to mammalian cells beyond bats. So these molecular fingerprints act as warning signals, allowing public health agencies to monitor the hot spots before outbreak occurs. So equally important are the behavioral observations. Like high definition footage of bat feeding, clustering, and interacting with other species reveals how viral transmission is facilitated. So, in one study, the camera captures bats feasting alongside with the primates and rodent, creating a shared ecological niche where the pathogen could easily cross species line. And such insight underscores that the spillover is not merely a biological event but an ecological one woven into a fabric of shared habitat. The implication definitely ripple outward. So understand a virus ecology in bat's cave inform the predictive model that integrates climate change and deforestations and urban expansion, which is definitely on high at the moment. Now, as forests shrink, the caves are disturbed. Bats are forced into a closer contact with human, amplifying the risk. So, by stimulating these scenarios, scientists can forecast where and when spillover is most likely and guiding surveillance and intervention strategies. They can work on that, these kind of strategies. Yet, the narratives is not one of the fear alone. So, bats are vital pollinators, you know that, and insect controllers. So essential to definitely essential to ecosystem. Now, when we demonize them and would be counterproductive. So instead, the lesson from the virus ecology is balance. Protecting bat habitats reduce stress on population, thereby lowering the viral shedding and minimizing the human exposure. So conservation becomes a form of public health. So in a broader arc of science, the bat caves is a reminder that pandemic are ecological phenomena before they become actually a medical crisis. So by listening to these whispers of wings in the dark, humanity gains foresight into the invisible currents of viral evolution. The caves teaches us that the vigilance must be ecological and behavioral all at once. So, thus, the study of virus ecology is in the bat's cave is not confined to academic genres. It is a story of anticipation, resilience, and interconnectionness. Now, these insight helps predict zoonotics spillover risk, offering humanity a chance to act before the next leap occurs. So, in the shadow of the caves, science illuminates pathway to of prevention and turning potential catastrophe into knowledge and knowledge into preparedness. From the echoes in the dark to insight in the lab, the bat caves teaches vigilance. So, and protecting habitats, decoding viral patterns, and respecting the ecological balance are not just act of science; they are act of survival. Now, the bat cave, once seen as a mysterious refuge of night, now stands revealed or as a vital classroom for humanity. Now, within these shadows, viruses evolve, adapt, and remind us of the fragile thread that binds ecosystem together. So by decoding these hidden exchanges, the scientists are not merely studying the bats, they are safeguarding the future of human health. The lesson is very clear. Pandemics are born at the intersection of ecology and society, and the prevention begins with the understanding. Protecting habitats, respecting biodiversity, and listening to the signals of nature are the act of foresight. So, in the quiet echoes of caves, we find both warning and wisdom. An urgent call to balance our relationship with the natural world before the next leap occurs. So, We would look forward your comments, what you think about this subject. And we have come to the end. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe our channel. See you in the next one. But before we end this video, a few words from our affiliate partner.
Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Hello friends, we all know that in today's volatile business landscape, a CEO must be more than just a strategist. They must be a vision bearer, a protector, an innovator, and a stabilizing force. Therefore, in this video, we decode the lessons learned from Bhagavad Gita and reveal the ultimate CEO matrix, a 12-point leadership framework hidden in plain sight for thousands of years. Let's go. Take a look at the modern C-suite. Today's CEO is expected to be visionary, futurist, a flawless operator, and a compassionate HR leader, a ruthless cost cutter, and an unshakable anchor during a crisis. We are told to look at Silicon Valley playbook, Ivy League case studies, and agile framework to survive. But what if the most comprehensive all-weather matrix for executive leadership wasn't written in a modern business school? What if it was mapped out thousands of years ago? So friends, welcome back. Today we are cracking open a timeless text that Bhagavad Gita talks about, specifically mentioned in chapter 9 verse 18. In this single verse, an incredible 12-point leadership framework is laid out. We call it an ultimate CEO matrix. Let's decode how these 12 ancient principles can completely redefine how you run your business today. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. Let's look at the text. The verse begins with the word, I am the goal. I am the supporter, right? As a CEO, your first and most foundational role is to be, the goal itself. In corporate terms, this is your North Star. If the CEO vision is blurry, the entire company stumbles in the dark. Being the goal means you don't just chase quarterly profits, you define the ultimate purpose of the enterprise. Why does your company exist? Where are your steering, and where are you taking the ship? You must embody that final destination. But a goal without infrastructure is just a pipe dream. And that is why the very next word is supporter, which is Bharata. This is the ultimate nod to the servant leadership. A true CEO doesn't sit on a throne expecting to be served. You are the ultimate support system. Your job is to clear roadblocks, secure funding, provide resources, and empower your executives to do their best work. You define the destinations, but you also build the road. Next, the verse gives us two seemingly contrasting roles, which is master, in Sanskrit this is Prabhu, and witness, which is Sakshi. So let's talk about being the master. At the end of the day, accountability stops with you. When the crisis strikes, a CEO must step up, claim extreme ownership, and make tough decisions. You are the ultimate authority. But look at how the Gita balances this power. Immediately after the master, it introduced the concept of witness. This is one of the rarest, most valuable skills in the modern business. Emotional detachment. As a witness, a CEO must be able to step back from the daily fire drill, put ego aside, and observe the company objectively. Are your sales dropping because of the market trends or because your product is genuinely losing relevance? If you are too emotionally reactive as a master, you will make panicked decisions. But if you can occupy the seat of an unbiased witness, you analyze data clearly, see reality of what it is, and govern with absolute clarity. Now we move from human element of the corporate scaling, and the words highlight the three beautiful concepts, which is abode, shelter, and well-wisher. Think about the word abode, which is nivas. An abode is a home for a CEO. This means creating a corporate culture where people feel a sense of belonging. It's about building an ecosystem from talent. It doesn't just work but thrive and put down the roots. And when things go wrong, because they have always do, you must become the shelter. In the modern corporate world, fear paralyzes innovation. If your employees think a single mistake will get them fired, they will play it safe. When a microeconomics downturn hit or a bold product launch fail, a stellar CEO act as a shield. You take the blame externally while giving your team the psychological safety internally to learn, pivot, and fix it. And you do this because you are their well-wisher. A well-wisher is a friend who expects nothing in return. As a CEO, your leadership shouldn't be purely transactional. You must genuinely care about the growth, well-being, and future of your people, your customers, and your stakeholders as well. When people know their leader genuinely desire their success, loyalty isn't demand, it's naturally given. Now let's pivot to the strategy and operations. Bhagavad Gita introduced a profound triad: creation, destruction, and maintenance. This is literally the life cycle of every product, every business unit, and every market economy. First, creation. A CEO must drive innovation. You are the entrepreneurial spark, pushing for the new R&D, entering new markets, and birthing new ideas. But you cannot have creation without destruction. So in business, this is what legendary economist Joseph Schumpeter called creative destruction. As a leader, you must have courage to kill an underperforming project, sunset legacy products, and disrupt your own business models before competitor does it for you. And while you balance creating the new and destroying the old, you must also master the maintenance. This is the operational excellence. It's optimizing cash flow, stabilizing supply chain, and keeping the core engine of your company running flawlessly. The ultimate CEO knows exactly when to create, when to maintain, and when to ruthlessly destroy. Finally, the verse conclude with the ultimate asset management strategy, the reservoir and the eternal seed. The reservoir is where the wealth and the resources are stored. In business, this is your capital allocation, your treasury, your reserves, and your talent pool. A reckless CEO burns through cash to chase vanity metrics. A visionary CEO builds a deep reservoir so the company can survive dry seasons, funding droughts, and unexpected market recessions. And lastly, we have the eternal seed. What is the seed? A seed is something small today that holds the genetic blueprint of a massive forest tomorrow. Every decision you make as an executive should be a seed planted for the future. This is about legacy. It's about succession planning. It's about building a corporate value that outlasts your tenure, outlasts your current product line, and survive the decades to come. So to look at a complete matrix: goal, supporter, master, witness, aboard, shelter, well-wisher, creation, destruction, maintenance, reservoir, and the eternal seeds. So when you synthesize chapter 9 verse 18 of the Bhagavad Gita, you realize that leadership isn't a one-dimensional job. It is a 360-degree spiritual and strategic responsibility. So friends, next time you walk into your boardroom or sign off on a massive corporate pivot, ask yourself, which quadrant of the matrix does my company need from me today? Do they need the witness to evaluate, the shelter to protect, or the seed to build the future? Lead holistically, lead with purpose. So friends, if you have any questions or any suggestions, kindly feel free to drop in your comments. And if this ancient framework changed how you view your modern executive role, hit that subscribe button, share this video with your fellow founders, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So see you in the masterclass next one. Before I leave, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now
in the grand symphony of India's philosophical heritage, Rishi Jamini's voice rises like a drumbeat of duty, which is steady, resonant, and timeless. While sages sought liberation through knowledge or devotion, Jamini declared that the universe itself is upheld by action. And his Mimamsa Sutra transformed rituals into cosmic law, dharma, that is righteousness, into a daily rhythm, and responsibility into the very heartbeat of existence. Today in 2026 and beyond, his vision of ritual as responsibility echoes anew and remind us that the yajna of sustainability, justice, and compassion are the modern duties that keep our fragile world in balance. So let's find out more. In the vast constellation of Indian races, Rishi Jamini shines as the discipline of Vyas, or the architect of Purva Mimamsa Sutra. His work carved a distinct path of Hindu philosophy, one that emphasized the authority of Veda and the sanctity of ritual. And of course, it is also a binding power of dharma, which is righteousness. Whether other schools sought liberation through knowledge or devotion, Jamini's Mimamsa place the spotlight on the action, rituals, as they actually turn out as a bridge between humanity and the cosmic order. So Jamini's contribution to Hinduism was profound, and definitely it is profound even today. He argued that Vedas are eternal and self-validating and required no external proof. So in his vision, the ritual prescribed in Vedas were not mere a symbolic act but an engine of cosmic harmony. Each mantra and each offerings was a thread in the tapestry of dharma, which is righteousness, and sustaining balance between seen and unseen world. For Jamini, liberation was not the ultimate goal. Rather, the fulfillment of duty and the perpetuation of order were paramount. In his philosophy, he gave Hinduism a framework where the rituals were not a superstition but science, and exacting the discipline that aligns human life with universal rhythm. So if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. That will help us to determine the reach of our channel. So, moving forward, Mimamsa school also sharpened the tools of logic and hermeneutics. The Jamini's Sutra developed a method to interpret Vedic injections, resolve contradictions, and establish principles of meaning. In doing so, he laid the groundwork for later Indian philosophy, influencing Vedanta and Nyaya and even the Buddhist thought. His insistence on autonomy of language and ritual created a tradition where the intellectual rigor and the spiritual practice walked hand in hand. So when we talk about the relevance in 2026 and beyond, it is very much resonating, and it is definitely unexpected ways which need to be practiced to know more about this. As humanity grapples with the climate change, technological disruptions, and ethical dilemmas, his emphasis on rituals as responsibility acquire new meaning. Ritual in the modern sense can be seen as sustainable practice or civil duties or collective action that preserve the balance, that create the balance in many of the aspects of human life and cosmos. Just as Vedic duty maintained cosmic order, today's ritual, whether recycling or meditating or community service, can be viewed as the act of dharma, which is righteousness and sustaining planetary harmony. Moreover, Jamini's focus on action over metaphysical expectations speaks to generation and immersed in pragmatism. In an age of AI and quantum uncertainty, his philosophy reminds us that the meaning is not only in abstract theories but in lived practices. So the Mimimsa insistence on authority of tradition parallels the contemporary debate on cultural continuity and ethical framework in a rapid changing world. So, in his teaching, we and people who believe in that, they are encouraged to honor the inherited wisdom while applying also into a modern challenges. So philosophical parallels to Mimimsa. So we can actually dive deep into these parallels beside Mimimsa. So these philosophies of Mimimsa are definitely also being offered by other schools of thoughts, and in spirit definitely there are other schools of thought which is somehow compared to Mimimsa school, and which emphasizes on the ritual actions and duty, and that echo you will find in Confucius teaching and theories. So as Mimimsa in Confucian's thought, they also elevate rituals as the foundation of social and cosmic order. So moving forward, if we talk about modern secular rituals like national ceremonies, civil observations, and even the scientific protocols that definitely embody the Mimimsa spirit and ritualized action and sustains collective meaning. So Rishi Jamini's legacy is not confined to the past, because the kind of ritual he's talking about, which is very much prevalent even in today's time, and that definitely give a benefit of responsibility in these rituals. And his Mimimsa Sutra reminds us that the universe is upheld not only by knowledge or devotion, but by rhythm of responsibility and the action which we do with the responsibility. In 2026 and beyond, as the humanity faces cries that demands collective discipline, his voice echoes, and dharma is not distinct. That means the righteousness is not distinct. It is enacted daily. So it is a practice, it is a responsibility, it's a rhythm, and it is also a ritual. The rituals of sustainability, justice, compassion are definitely our modern actions or duties, or we can call it yagyas, binding us to the cosmos. So in this way, Jamini's vision continues to guide us not towards escape from the world, but towards its preservation and beyond, to get the right kind of output for human life. So we have come to the end. Please like and subscribe our channel. We look forward for your comment and see you in the next one. So, but before we end this video, a few words from our affiliate partner.
Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Hello, friends. Are you leading with clarity or are you reactive to the market chaos? In this video, we break down one of the most powerful management philosophies ever written, and that is Bhagavad Gita, mentioned in chapter 2 very clearly in verse 15. While the modern business culture often celebrates the hustle, the ancient wisdom teaches that the truly elite leader possesses something far more rare, which is equanimity. If you are a CEO or a business leader learning to navigate the dualities of business, joy and sorrow, profit and loss, success and failure is the ultimate differentiator between the short-term uh, firefighting and long-term eternal business impact. Let's go and discuss this further. As a leader, we are often told that the secret to success is being in control. We track the KPIs, we manage the market volatility, and we try to predict the next disruption. We play the role of master of our own universe. But let's be honest, friends. How often do you feel like you're actually in control? In the high stake world of business, we are constantly buffeted by dualities. The joy of record breaking quarter followed immediately by the sorrow of a failed product launch, the elation of a new partnership followed by a sting of a loss of a very highly key team member. If your mental state is tied to these external fluctuations, you aren't leading, you are actually reacting. Today, I want to share a 7,000-year-old secret from Bhagavad Gita that flips this entire paradigm on its head. It is a secret to not just surviving the chaos, but mastering it. We are looking at chapter 2, verse 15. The verse says, and the quote starts, to whom joy and sorrow are one and the same, he becomes qualified for eternal life. And the quote close. Now, for a CEO, eternal life might sound like a theological concept, but let's translate that into business terms. In a competitive market, eternal means sustainable. It means a business that doesn't collapse under pressure. When the verse talks about joy and sorrow being the same, that means part of the same coin. It isn't telling you to become a robot. It is teaching you equanimity. Imagine a balance scale like the one that you see everyday life in your real life. If your joy is too high, you get complacent. If your sorrow is too deep, you get paralyzed. The goal of the elite leader is to find this center point. It is the ability to look at the massive gain and massive losses and recognize them both as a transient data point. When you achieve that, you stop being a victim of your circumstances and start being the architect of your strategy. Think of this as a Jedi master, Jedi mindset of the boardroom. In the image, you know, you can imagine that you are building a lightsaber. Why? Because as a Jedi master, Jedi strength doesn't come from aggression; it comes from disciplined mind. How do we apply this in real company, in real life situation? First, detach from the outcome. You have to care deeply about the effort, the mission, the product, the team, but you must be detached from the temporary score of the market. Next, 24-hour rule. When something great happens, you don't get high. When something disastrous happens, you don't get too low. Take 24 hours to let the initial emotional spike settle before making any decision, any kind of decisions, right? So you actually follow a 24-hour rule. And because we are talking about the strategic decisions. Third, lead the culture. Lead the culture. Very, very important. Your team watches your energy. If you are frantic, they are frantic also. If you are steady, if you treat joy and sorrow with the same calm authority, you create a culture of resilience. You become the best of the men or the best of the leaders. That is a verse that refers to, right? By practicing equanimity, you gain a massive competitive advantage, which is clarity. When you aren't blind by the joy of a winner or the sorrow of a loss, you see the market exactly as it is. You make better calls. You refrain from making mistakes. You retain better talent. You build a legacy that lasts because it is built on foundation of internal stability, not external luck. The secret isn't a new software tool or a disruptive growth hack. The secret is the unshakable leader. And therefore, before I wind up, I like to challenge you this week is in your next board meeting or crisis, kindly pause, recognize the duality, step back into that center point, lead from a place of calm, not as a from a place of reaction. This is your challenge for today. Friends, if you found this perspective helpful, hit the subscribe button for more deep dives and how can we marry the ancient wisdom for the modern C-suite. And you must lead with purpose, lead with equanimity. So friends, thanks for joining live. Thanks for watching. See you very soon in the next one. नमस्कार दोस्तों, आप सबका स्वागत है। और हर रोज की तरह हम अपना दिन शुरू करेंगे तो भगवान की पूजा करेंगे। और आज शनिवार है तो आपको सबको पता होगा, ज्ञात होगा कि जो शनिवार का जो दिन है वो शनि भगवान के लिए सुरक्षित किया गया है, उनके ऊपर समर्पित है। और आप सब जानते होंगे कि जो शनि भगवान है वो कार्य के देवता हैं, मतलब आप जितना कर्म करेंगे उतने ज्यादा वो आपको फल देते हैं। तो आज शनिवार है तो आज हम भगवान की प्रार्थना करते हैं, भगवान की स्तुति करते हैं। हर रोज की तरह हम 11 दफा एक मंत्र का उच्चारण करेंगे जो शनि भगवान की पूजा के हेतु है। और रोज की तरह हम इस काउंटर को यूज करेंगे। इसमें देख सकते हैं, इसमें नंबर है तो हमें आसानी होती है कितने बार हो गया ये हमें पता चल जाता है। तो ठीक है, आप जैसा भी करना चाहें, आप माला का इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं या अपने फिंगर टिप्स का भी इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं, नो प्रॉब्लम। लेकिन 11 दफा करना है। आप हमारे साथ जुड़ें और हमारे साथ इस मंत्र का उच्चारण करें। इससे शनि भगवान काफी खुश होते हैं। और ध्यान रहे कि शनि भगवान जो हैं ये काफी मतलब बहुत ही कर्म के वो हैं, स्वामी हैं। तो अपने कर्म को आप ठीक रखें, इसका भी ध्यान रखें। तो चलिए हम हाथ जोड़ के नमन करते हैं और भगवान शनिदेव का ध्यान शुरू करते हैं। ओम शन शनिश्चराय नमः। ओम शन शनिश्चराय नमः। ओम शन शनिश्चराय नमः। ओम शन शनिश्चराय नमः। ओम शनिश्चराय नमः। ओम शन 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 शनिश्चराय नमः। तो इसके साथ हमारी आज की पूजा समाप्त हुई। बस अभी थोड़ी देर में दोबारा मिलते हैं दूसरे वीडियो में। तब तक के लिए आपका दिन शुभ रहे और मंगलमय रहे। नमस्कार।
For decades, Uranus and Neptune have been labeled as ice giant, described as swirling mass of water, ammonia, and methane. But the new scientific breakthroughs are shattering that model. Recent research suggests that these distant worlds might be far rockier than anyone had imagined previously. Therefore, in this video, we dive deep into the ice giant illusion. We explore the latest thermal modeling and the planetary data that are forcing the astronomers to rewrite the textbooks. If Uranus and Neptune aren't just the balls of ice and gas, what does that mean for the history of our solar system and the thousands of exoplanets that we have discovered so far? Let's go. Hello everyone and welcome back. For decades, when we look at the edge of our solar system, we saw two blue marbles, Uranus and Neptune. We have always called them the ice giants. Textbook taught us they were swirling mass of water, ammonia and methane. But what if that identity is just an illusion? Recent scientific breakthroughs are suggesting these worlds might be far rockier than we ever imagined. And in this shift, we are forced to rewrite the, very rules of the planetary science. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. There are three things that we need to reevaluate. First is, what is the core problem? Second, why reevaluate? And third is, why the sudden change? It comes down to thermal modeling and the gravity. When scientists released data from Voyager 2 alongside new models, the math didn't quite add up. If these planets were purely ice fluid, they should be emitting heat and reacting to gravity differently. To account for their specific gravity and heat signature, these planets must contain a much higher percentage of rock or methane-rich ice than the old model allowed. The new research suggests that instead of the small rocky core surrounded by massive oceans of ice, the rocky material might be distributed much more broadly, potentially making up to 20 to 40% of their total mass. We are talking about an enlarged rocky core and a dominant solid interior. This challenges the traditional view of these planets as gas dominated or primarily fluid dominated. In business, we often talk about strategic liberation and the global shift. This discovery is a strategic liberation for planetary science. It frees us from an old, potentially incorrect framework. Just as generative AI has flipped the pyramid in the tech industry, the rocky theory flipped our understanding of the planetary formation. If the Uranus and Neptune are rocky, then the new space race, which is already heating up around the moon's south pole, might eventually extend even further as we look into the valuable materials in the outer solar system. So as we look towards 2026 and beyond, the focus is shifting from just passing exams to a skill-based revolution. In astronomy, that means moving beyond old labels and embracing the complex reality of our universe. Whether it is the direct collapse of a star or a rocky heart of an ice giant, we are living in an era of unprecedented discovery. So friends, this is something that we have learned. Thanks for joining today on the Akulmach world. And if you found this deep dive into cosmos and strategic redefinition of the planet, and if you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe our channel. I'm CK and I will see you again in the next one. Before I go, a few words about our affiliate partners. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with two microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's Hello friends, how did the India turn thousands of kilometers of concrete into a massive financial engine? In this video, we break down India's ambitious 35,000 crore highway asset monetization strategy for year 27, which is next year, 2027. The National Highway Authority of India is leveraging Infrastructure Investment Trust and the toll operate transfer TOT model to recycle public assets by monetizing 28 national highway stretches span over 1,800 kilometers. The government is creating a sustainable revenue stream to fund the future infrastructure development across the country. Let us learn more about it. Imagine you own a house, but instead of just living in it, you could rent out a spare room to earn enough money to build a second house. That is essentially what India is doing with its highway. Welcome back. Today we are diving into a massive financial strategy, how the National Highway Authority of India, which is NHAI, is turning thousands of kilometers of concrete into 35,000 crore cash ATM. This isn't just about collecting tolls, it's a sophisticated blueprint for modern infrastructure development known as asset monetization. Let's break down how it works. So, friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. To understand the 35,000 crore figure, we have to look at the National Monetization Pipeline or NMP launched in 2021. The NMP is a government initiative to unlock the value of existing brownfield infrastructure assets. Think of it this way. The government has already spent billions building these highways. Once they are operational, they don't need to be built anymore. They need to be maintained. Government realized they could invite private investors to take over the operations of these complete road, and in exchange, the government gets an upfront lump sum of cash. This cash is then recycled to build new roads, bridges, and expressway. It's a perpetual cycle of growth. So how do they actually move the money? NHAI primarily use two powerful mechanisms. First, we have the toll operate transfer model, which is TOT model. Under TOT, the government grants a private player the right to collect tolls and maintain highway stretch for a specific period, usually 20 years. The private player pays the government a massive upfront fee for this right. It's a win-win. The investor gets stable long-term returns and the government gets immediate capital. Second, we have an infrastructure investment trust or INVITs. Think of it of an INVITs like a mutual fund but for roads. NHAI pools several operational highway assets into a trust and offer units to investors, from large pension fund down to retail individuals. Investor get regular dividend from toll revenue collected
and NHAI gets the capital to fund new massive projects. In fact, just this year, the maiden public issue of NHAI Rajmarg Investment Trust was oversubscribed 14 times, proving massive investor confidence. Now, a common question is, does this mean toll will skyrocket? The answer is no. The user fee are strictly regulated under a national highway fee rules. Furthermore, the government has built-in oversight. The agreement includes independent traffic surveyors, strict audit requirements for escrow accounts, and performance monitoring to ensure that the private concessionaries don't prioritize short-term profit at the cost of public goods. The goal isn't to gouge drivers, it's to make the entire ecosystem more efficient and more transparent. This isn't a one-time project. Under the National Monetization Pipeline or Policy 2.0, the government has identified highway assets worth about 4 lakh crores to be monetized through by 2030. For the current year, which is 26-27, the target is specifically 35,000 crores, involving just 28 highways spanning over 1,800 kilometers. By shifting away from traditional budget dependency and moving towards market-driven financing, India is setting a global standard for how a country can leverage its own infrastructure to build a stronger economic future. From an asset-heavy government to an asset-light facilitator, India's approach to highways is changing. So, what do you think, friends? Is this the right way to fund our nation's growth? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell icon for more deep dives into Indian economy. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining live. I will catch you again in the next one. But before I leave, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now, hello friends and namaskar. Do you know that the Gurugram real estate prices have skyrocketed by 18%? Therefore, in this video, we break down exactly why property demand in Gurugram is hitting new high in 2026 and what this means for home buyers and the real estate investors. Let's go and explore this further. If you have been looking at the property in Gurugram lately, you have probably noticed that same thing I have in the market is basically on fire. So what was cheaper earlier is now becoming expensive. We are looking at an 18% jump in the prices, and that isn't just a random number. It's a signal of a massive shift in the Millennium City. But is this a bubble about to burst, or is there some actual solid value behind these numbers? Today we are breaking down exactly what is happening in Gurugram real estate market in 2026, and more importantly, whether you should be buying, selling, or staying on the sidelines when the property is soaring so much. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, first, let's get the big question out of the way. Why 18%? A lot of people see this and think probably, perhaps, speculative bubble. But when you look at the data, it's actually a structural repricing. We are seeing a perfect storm of three things: infrastructure, corporate expansion, and flight to quality. Not all of the Gurugram is growing at the same rate. We are seeing two-speed market. This is the part everyone ask me about. Is it too late to enter? So when we talk about two-speed market, so there are places in Gurugram which are moving slowly, but there are hot cakes, very very prime locations which are growing at 18%, especially in 2026. So question is it too late to enter? No, market is absolutely risk free. We had a massive price run up in the short 30 months window, and you need to be aware of the risk also, like potential interest rate fluctuations and the fact that we have pulled forward several years of expected appreciation into the current window. So in the end, I would like to tell you that look for a 7-year plus holding period if you are buying right now. This isn't get rich quick game anyway. It is a long-term wealth building strategy in a maturing global city. And Gurugram is a very happening place. Also, there are a lot of business opportunities for people who live in Gurugram. So Gurugram isn't just a city. It's a structural growth story. Whether you are looking at the Dwarka Expressway or the established luxury of Golf Course Road, the key is doing your homework. Don't buy the hype, but buy the fundamentals. So friends, the prices are going up, and my advice is to basically look for a property based on your budget and location preferences. But definitely, this is the right time to invest in Gurugram real estate market. If you found this breakdown useful, hit that like button, subscribe our channel, and look at the property price in Gurugram very seriously. Do let me know what sector you have in mind, and I can probably guide you further on that. My name is CK, and I will see you again in the next one.
Well, $60 billion, that's more than the entire valuation of many Fortune 500 companies, right? It's twice what NASA gets in a year, and it is the price tag of a single option. Elon Musk just secured, for SpaceX. Yesterday, the world of aerospace and AI collided. SpaceX officially announced a strategic partnership with Cursor, the AI coding startup that has taken the developer world by storm. But this isn't just a partnership. SpaceX now holds the exclusive right to buy Cursor for $60 billion by the end of 2026. Why would a rocket company, one that just merged with XAI and is targeting a 1.75 trillion IPO, drop that kind of cash on a code editor? Is it just about helping engineers write faster apps? Or is this the missing link that finally makes the city on Mars a reality? Today we are deconstructing the SpaceX Cursor deal, the colossal supercomputer, and why the road to the red planet is now paved with billions of lines of AI generated code. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed with our analysis. If you aren't a developer, you might not realize how big Cursor has become. It's a fork of the VS Code, but it has been rebuilt from the ground up with AI at its core. It pioneered what enthusiasts call the vibe coding, the ability to describe a complex feature in plain English and watch the AI architect the entire file structure, logic, and test in seconds. And Therefore, we need to consider this statistics. ARR, over 2 billion today, projected to hit 6 billion by year end. And what is the reach? Used by over 50% of the Fortune 500 company. And what is the most important thing? It is not just a chatbot. It is a tool that understands your entire code base. SpaceX isn't just buying a tool. They are buying the distribution channel to the world's best engineers. But there is a catch. SpaceX has two choices: pay 10 billion for a joint development partnership or pay $60 billion for the whole thing. It's a try before you buy deal at a galactical scale. To understand why this matters, we have to look at the hardware. Back in the February 2026, SpaceX merged with XAI. In that merger, SpaceX inherited Colossus, the world's most powerful AI training cluster running on roughly 1 million NVIDIA H100 equivalents. Before this deal, Cursor was a bottlenecked by the computing power. They were using model from OpenAI and Anthropic. But now Cursor is moving into the SpaceX family. They get direct access to Colossus. Imagine taking the world's most intuitive coding interface and plugging it to the world's largest supercomputer. We are talking about training a personal super intelligent specifically for engineering. This isn't about building another Grok for Twitter. It's about building an AI that can design a Raptor engine, simulate orbital mechanics, and debug the flight software of a starship in real time. Elon Musk has often said that the hardest part of Starship isn't that rocket, it is the machine that built the machine. To put a million people on Mars by 2050, you need thousands of starships. You need autonomous propellant plants on Martian surface. You need life support system that never fails. The software complexity required to manage a multi-planetary logistics chain is mind-boggling. Currently, writing that software takes thousands of human engineers and millions of man-hours. But with Cursor integrated into SpaceX stacks, accelerated prototyping will be a reality. AI can generate ground control software for the 2028 lunar mission in a fraction of time. It can also achieve autonomous debugging. On a 6-month journey to Mars, you can't wait for a patch from Earth. The ship's AI need to find a fix on its own and also debug the whole software. Next, it is going to create a stairway to Mars. This acquisition suggests that SpaceX is pivoting from being a launch provider to vertical tech stack. Their own internet, which is Starlink, their own AI, which is XAI. Now it could be Cursor also, and the transport, which is the Starship. Let's talk about money. This deal comes just as SpaceX prepare for its rumored 2026 IPO. Analysts are targeting a listing valuation of 1.75 trillion. By securing Cursor, SpaceX is signaling to Wall Street that they aren't just a transportation company, they are deep tech combination of various companies. If they can prove that their AI integrated engineering can cut the cost of reaching Mars by 90%, a 60 billion acquisition start to look like a bargain. However, not everyone is convinced. Critics point to the Anthropic shock earlier this year that wiped billions of IT giants. They ask if this a visionary move or is it another overvaluation in a red hot AI market. Whether SpaceX Cursor buys the Cursor for $60 billion or stay in a $10 billion partnership, one thing is clear. The future of space exploration is no longer just about fuel and physics. It's about intelligence. If Starship is the body that takes us to stars, the AI acquisition is the brain. We are watching the birth of the company that controls the physical and the digital infrastructure of the next century. So friends, what do you think? Is $60 billion fair price for the key to the red planet, or is the AI bubble reaching escape velocity? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into technology shaping our future. I'm CK and I will see you again in the next one. Before I go, I'd like to say a few words about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
The resume is fading and the algorithm are rising. Welcome to the new age of hiring. For a generation, the resume has been the passport to opportunity, a single sheet of paper meant to capture the essence of person's career, ambition, and potential. Recruiters relied on it as their compass, scanning from keywords, actually judging the experience and making the judgment further. And that shaped the lives and the companies alike. But in today's corporate world, the compass is being recalibrated. Artificial intelligence has entered the hiring arena, shifting the focus from polished resume to predictive algorithm. What once depended on the human intuition is now increasingly governed by machine logic. And the ripple effect are transforming not only how company recruit, but also how candidates present themselves. For decades, the hiring process has revolved around the resume, carefully crafted document meant to summarize a candidate's skill, experience, and aspirations. Recruiters would shift through the stacks of resumes, searching for the right fit and often relying on the intuition and human judgment. But today, the familiar ritual is being disrupted. Algorithms are shaping in and reshaping corporate hiring strategies and slowing down the traditional recruitment as we know it. Artificial intelligence is no longer confined to futuristic speculation. It is embedded in the very fabric of talent acquisition. So companies are deploying AI-driven platform that scan thousands of applications in a second, identifying patterns invisible to human eye. And instead of recruiters spending hours and like judging the resumes and finding out the right candidate. Machine learning models evaluated it very fast and very even the behavioral clue and the skill is being judged by the machine. Competencies are judged by the machines, and the result is hiring process is more faster, more data driven, and at least in theory more objective. Yet this shift is not without tension. Traditional recruitments relied heavily on human interaction. The handshake at the interview, the nuances, reading of candidate's personality, the gut feeling that someone might be a cultural fit. AI challenges this by reducing the process in qualifying metrics. So algorithm can rank candidate by predictive job preferences, but they cannot replicate the warmth of human connection. And this raises a profound question. Are we hiring people or are we hiring data points? So if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us to determine the reach of our channel. So now going forward, so when we are talking about resume and the algorithm shift in the job market, the corporates are embracing the AI because it promises efficiency. In industries where the talent demand is high, AI tool can cut hiring timelines dramatically, and they can also help reduce bias, at least when designed carefully and of course by focusing on the skill rather than demographic markers. For example, AI can highlight the candidate from unconventional background who might otherwise be overlooked. So paradoxically, if the algorithm are actually trained on biased historical data, they risk perpetuating the very inequalities they are meant to solve. So the slowing of traditional recruitment is evident in diminishing role of resume themselves. So increasingly, the companies are actually finding this easy, and the companies are also asking candidates to demonstrate the skill through online assessment, coding challenges, and or sometimes gamified test. An AI system then evaluate these results often before a human recruiter even see the candidate's name. So the resume, once the centerpiece of hiring, is becoming a supportive document at the best. And this transformation also changes the role of recruiters. Instead of manually screening resume, recruiters are becoming interpreters of AI insight. So this is how the job market is evolving. Their job is shifting towards relationship building, employers branding, and ensuring that the human element is not lost in the set of algorithm. In this sense, AI is not eliminating recruiters, it is redefining their responsibilities. For job seekers, the implications are profound, very high. So, and I think you're also aware of this change in the market. So, when we talk about the candidates and getting hired by big companies, by corporate, so there's the role of crafting a resume with a clever wording may no longer be enough. Candidate must learn to speak algorithm and tailoring their application to highlight measurable skills, and also the AI system which actually AI system recognize. At the same time, they must prepare for the recruitment journey that feels less personal, more automated, and sometimes opaque. Transparency is how these algorithms work. and will be crucial to the meaning of trust for hiring also. Ultimately, the rise of AI is hiring kind of a balance, a story of a balance, you know. The efficiency and the scales are undeniable, definitely an advantage, but they must be they also weigh against the fairness sometimes, and maybe you can say more on empathy, or sometimes you may feel that they are less empathic. So the human judgment is not there that much, which was there earlier. The future of recruitment will likely to be hybrid, you know, algorithm handling the heavy lifting of the data analysis, and while the human provide the nuances, the context, and the compassion that machine cannot replicate. So when we say that algorithm over resume, we are not just describing a technological shift. We are witnessing a cultural transformation, and that is also at the same time how company define talent, how individual present themselves, and how society negotiate the line between human intuitions and machine precision. So the resume may not disappear entirely, but its reign as the king of hiring is definitely ending. In its place, the new era of emerging, one where the algorithm and the human must learn to collaborate in the delicate art of choosing what we get in the job, you know. So in the end, the rise of AI in recruitment is not simply a technical actually shift or a technical upgrade. It is a cultural turning point. The resume, once the centerpiece of professional identity, is being overshadowed by algorithms that promise speed, scale, and sharper insight. Yet the human element remain irreplaceable. You know, the company will need a strike, definitely a delicate balance, letting machine handle the data while the people preserve the empathy, the intuition, and nuances that define meaningful work in relationship. So as we move forward, the question is not whether algorithm will replace the resume, but how human and machine will collaborate to redefine the hiring means. So the future of recruitment will be less about polished documents and more about demonstrated skills, adaptability, and authenticity. And in that the future success will belong to the organization that embrace the technology without losing sight of humanity. So we have come to the end. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe our channel, and we'll see you in next one. Before we close this video, few words about our affiliate partner.
Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
In the dawn of Vedic age, when human curiosity first turned towards the stars and the mystery of fire, one stage stood at the crossroad of spirituality and science. So we are talking about Rishi Angira. He became a pioneer of knowledge system that shaped Indian knowledge system and the thought that stayed for millennia. Angiras looked at fire not merely as a ritual but as a very essence of energy, transformative, purifying and eternal. He listened to the sound not only as a chant but as a scientific medium, a carrier of wisdom across generation. He gazed the cosmos and saw order, symmetry and proportion, principle that would echo in maths and astronomy long after his time. And above all, he taught that the body, mind and universe were not separate realms, but a reflection of one harmonious whole. And in 2026, the contribution of Rishi Angira feels more relevant than ever because his teachings sit at the intersection of science, philosophy and holistic living, exactly where the modern society is searching for balance. In the vast tapestry of India's spiritual and intellectual heritage, few figures stand out as bright as Rishi Angira. Counted among the Saptarishi, he was not only a seer of divine truth, but also a pioneer where the insight laid the foundation of astronomy and mathematics and definitely the sound and how to actually handle the sound and the holistic philosophy. His legacy reminds us that the root of science and spirituality in India are deeply intertwined. So Angira is often described as the sage of fire. In Rig Veda, his hymn of Agni reveals a profound understanding of fire, not merely a physical phenomena, but as a universal principle of energy, transformation, and purification. Fire consume and transform, and also that. So it transform into kind of a energy, and it also into purifying, and in this whole process a renew idea that resonate with the modern science notion of energy conservation and thermodynamics. For Angira, the Agni or the fire was both a deity and a metaphor. The eternal flame that linked the material world with the cosmic order. His vision of fire as energy linked to the transformation and purification, and that even resonate today also, and we that also focus on renewable energy and sustainable practices. So Angira reminds us that the energy is not just a resource, but a principle of harmony. So today we are keen regarding energy and sustainability, aren't we? So, but Angira's vision extended far beyond fire. He was deeply engaged with the cosmos and observing the star and the cycle of time. His association with the Rishi constellation reflect the Vedic tradition of linking sage to celestial bodies. In this way, Angira helped establish astronomy not merely as a tool but for a ritual, but a science of cosmos rhythm. His teaching emphasized that the heavens were not a distinct mystery, but a living pattern guiding human life. Now in 2026, with the space exploration and AI-driven astronomy advancing rapidly, his emphasis on cosmos rhythm and the cycle offers a philosophical ground and seeing the universe not as a chaos, but as an order pattern we have learned from. So, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. That will that will help us to determine the reach of our channel. So, going forward on Angira, perhaps his most enduring contribution was in the realm of sound and knowledge transmission. So Angira recognized that the sound or shabd, that's what we call in Hindi, was and they are actually more vibration. It's more a vibration, and it has a scientific medium for preserving and transmitting the wisdom. In the age before the writing, he developed the method of oral transmission that relied on rhythm, repetition, and precise articulation. And this system ensured that the Veda could be memorized and passed down flawlessly across a generation. So, in a modern term, Angira pioneered into science of memory, science of sound, and blending linguistic and phonics and the pedagogy into one. And even now in the age of digital communication, Angira's recognition of sound or shabd, that's what we call in Hindi, as a scientific medium, and that mirrors how we use data transmission today. His oral method of preserving knowledge and anticipating the importance of precision is definitely very much relevant in information system. So his hymn also reveal a fascinating with order, symmetry, and proportion. So ritual were not a random act, but a carefully measured sequences reflecting mathematical precision. And this emphasis on structure influenced later in Indian tradition in maths, and where the proportion and the balance became the guiding principle. So in Angira's worldwide view, the maths was not an abstract. It was a language of harmony, in a way the mirror the cosmos into human practice. His focus on order, symmetry, and proportion aligned with the modern mathematics and coding and design thinking, where the structure and the balance are essential for innovation. So equally important was his teaching on balance between body, mind, and cosmos. So Angira saw human being as a microcosmos of universe. Just as a fire purifies and a star guide, so too our individual alignment in their inner energy of us and yours inner energies with the rhythm of nature. So this holistic vision foreshadowed the Ayurveda and other Indian science that emphasize equilibrium as the key of health and wisdom. Perhaps most importantly, his teaching that body, mind, and cosmos must remain in equilibrium and speaks directly to 2026 challenges of mental health and environment crisis and technological actually the overload. So taken together, Angira's contribution form a remarkable legacy. He gave us the vision of fire as an energy, astronomy as a cosmic order, sound as a scientific transmission, and mathematics as a symmetry, and philosophy as a balance. So his work reminds us that science, spirituality were never separate in Vedic age. They were two sides of one quest for truth. So as we look back and as we analyze the teaching of Angira, though in that context, Angira emerged not only as a sage, but as scientist of soul and cosmos. His insights continue to inspire, urge us to see the universe not as a collection of isolated phenomena, but as a living, ordered whole. In his hymn, we hear the echoes of timeless truth that knowledge, whether spiritual or scientific, is a flame meant to illuminate, transform, and guide humanity towards harmony with the cosmos. So in Vedic dawn, the Angira lit the flame of knowledge, of science, where the fire becomes energy, sound becomes knowledge, and cosmos becomes order. So in the end, Rishi Angira emerged not as a sage of Vedic age, but a visionary who saw science and spirituality as two currents of same river. His hymn to fire reveals the energy as a principle of transformation and purification. His devotion to sound gave humanity a flawless system of oral knowledge transmission, ensuring the wisdom echo across the centuries. And his fascination with symmetry and proportions seeded the spirit of mathematics, while his gaze at the star aligned human life with the cosmos rhythm. What Angira taught us was simple yet profound. The body, the mind, and the cosmos are not separate realm, but reflection of the same kind of alignment, same as a kind of living, the way of living actually. So when we go forward about his teaching, I would also request you to send us the comments what you think, and if you want to add something on this in this context, please, we welcome your comments. So his vision was knowledge was not a possession but a flame meant to illuminate, purify, and guide. As we look back today, his legacy reminds us that the true wisdom lies in the balance and between energy, order, and between sound and silence, between the human and the cosmos. So please send, as I was requesting you, send your comments on this subject, and also please subscribe our channel for more insights to Indian spirituality, mythology. So see you in the next one. But before we end, few words about our affiliate partner.
Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with two microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready, comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
Hello friends, the big question that we want to address today is that is your mind working for you or against you? This is a very age-old question many people have tried to answer, but today we are going to take a deep dive into Bhagavad Gita. And friends, as you know, Bhagavad Gita is a very ancient document. It's a very ancient manuscript. However, ancient or not, it offers a timeless wisdom for the modern CEOs and entrepreneurs. And in fact, this particular question is beautifully answered in one of the verse which every modern CEO and entrepreneur must hear and see. So let us take the deep dive and try to answer this very profound question, which is about your mind. Let's go.
In the world of business, we are trained to analyze everything. We analyze market trends, competitor strategies, cash flow, and consumer behavior. We spend millions on business intelligence. But there is one piece of intelligence that most leaders completely ignore. And that is one thing that dictates every decision you make, every reaction you have under pressure, and ultimately legacy you leave behind. I'm talking about your mind, which is your mind as well as mine. Think about it. You can have the best strategy in the world, but if your mind is clouded by anxiety, ego, or fatigue, that strategy is worthless. Over 7,000 years ago, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, a warrior prince named Arjun faced the ultimate leadership crisis. He was paralyzed by doubts. It was then that Bhagwan Krishna delivered a line that remains the most important psychological insight for any executive today. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 6. It's the difference between a CEO who thrives and one who burns out. So, friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. For him who's conquered the mind is the best of the friend. But for one who has failed to do so, his very mind will be the greatest enemy. And this is a quote translated into English. This isn't just a spiritual talk. This is the high level operational reality. When your mind is conquered, it's like having a rogue employee in your C-suite. It creates imaginary problems, fixated on past failures, and reacts with anger when a deadline is missed. It is the voice that tells you to send that angry email at 2 a.m. It's an enemy because it works against your goals. When conquered, the mind becomes your most loyal chief of staff. It stays calm when the market crashes. It sees opportunities when others sees obstacles. It is disciplined, focused, and most importantly, it listens to you. Why is this so hard for leaders? As a CEO, your mind is constantly on. You are bombarded with Prakriti, which is the external material world, data, noise, opinions, and crisis. The Bhagavad Gita teaches that the mind, by its very nature, is flickering and turbulent. If you don't actively conquer it, it defaults to a state of reactive survival. The three traits of enemy mind is in business today can be summarized like this. First is impulsivity, making decisions based on temporary emotions rather than long-term data. Next is ego attachment, caring more about being right than getting the right result. Third, mental fatigue, the inability to switch off, leading to decision fatigue, the silent killer of the companies. So when your mind is your enemy, you aren't leading your company, you are being led by your impulses. So how do we conquer it? Bhagwan Krishna doesn't suggest we suppress the mind or kill it. He says to win it over. So in Gita, the mind is often compared to the reins of the chariot. If the driver, which can be equated to your intellect, let go of the rein, the horses, which are your senses, so your senses run wild. So in the end, I will like to offer 3 strategic steps for the modern leaders using which they can actually implement this in their professional life. Step 1, observation. Basically the witness mind. Before you can control your mind, you must observe it. In your next board meeting, notice when your enemy mind start to get defensive. Don't act on it, just label it. That is my ego feeling threatened. This creates a gap between the impulse and the action. Step 2. Consistent practice. Krishna tells Arjun that the mind is conquered through abhyas, which is constant practice. For a CEO, this means mental discipline, whether it is meditation, deep work blocks, or structured reflections. You must train your mind like a muscle. Step 3. Detachment. This is the most misunderstood word in the business. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you are detached from the result. You're focused 100% on the process and the action. When you aren't terrified of the outcome, your enemy mind loses its power over you. Imagine two CEOs facing a 20% drop in their revenue. CEO A has unconquered mind. They blame the team, stop sleeping, micromanage everyone, and project fear. The enemy mind is in charge and the company spirals out of control. Now let's go to CEO B. CEO B has conquered mind. They acknowledge the loss, remain calm, gather the team and ask, what is the most important logical next step now? They sleep 7 hours because they know tired mind is a weak mind. Their mind is their best friend, providing them with the resilience needed to pivot when the need arises. So, which one of these minds or the CEO you are? Do let me know. Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 verse 6 is called to arms. Not a war against others, but a war against your own lower instincts. As a leader, your greatest asset isn't your bank balance or your intellectual property. It is the quality of your consciousness. Your challenge for the week, therefore, is next time when you feel stressed or angry, stop. Ask yourself, in this moment, is my mind being my friend or my enemy? If you want to lead a great company, you must first lead yourself. If you found this integration of ancient wisdom and modern leadership valuable, hit that like button, subscribe for more insights from Gita for the modern world. Conquer your mind and you will conquer the world. So friends, we have come to the end. Before I end this section, few words about our affiliate partner.
Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.